Hello, YouTube. We are streaming right now on twitch.tv/CubbyXX. The VoD review for a best of 5 that went the distance today between Disguised and Cincinnati Fear. You can tune into these streams on twitch.tv/CubbyXX. If not, thanks for tuning in. There is a playlist for these. I'm covering all of the LCS Challengers League games. Afterwards, I cast about half of them for playoffs, but whether I cast or not, we'll be streaming some reviews, talking about our teams and players, and making sure that I'm doing my homework and sharing it with the class as we're prepping for finals myself and seeing what kind of teams make it there. So it was a hell of a best of 5 today. I don't want to spoil too much, besides the fact I won 5 games. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to dive into game 1. And guys, I forgot to do one thing. It was a banger. Oh, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Yeah, it was actually a really interesting series, I thought. There was some good and bad moments as always, but you know. All right, I got my pen. That's why I had to swap one more time. All right, here we go. Game 1. So this game, it's funny. Disguised, like these two champs ended up being the core for Fear in game 5, which is I think kind of funny. But so Fear coming in. Oh, hold on. Also, do you cover collegiate or LCS at all, or primarily amateur? I was on CLOL finals, but I don't cover it in this capacity. Riot only covers top 32. And then LCS, I showed up for 2 games in spring and summer, but I don't cover it in this capacity. This is the league I cover, so I try and give this my all. I might start going through LCS playoffs so this week. I do have finals to get through, but I do want to, put some effort in LCS finals as well. As I will be attending live in Newark. But yeah, I appreciate the question. Cool. All right, here we go. Yeah, no, absolutely. All right. So we've got Sej, first pick, which ended up being really big for Disguise. So one of the big things about Disguise coming into the series is that Tomio, when he is on Sej or Maokai, he's 19-3 on those 2 champions. And I think part of the reason that it really opens things up is actually Young's champion pool. And now that I bring those 2 up, let's just do some live scouting. Why the Sivir? Because they were going to pick a mage, and it's really good in the mages. Cubby casting today. Go to with a sauce. Hey, appreciate that, Milky Pirate. Thanks for tuning in to the stream as well. So coming into the day, you can see Tomio is still an insane win rate on Maokai. It's 11-1, and then Sejuani dropped a little bit, but coming into today, he was 9-2 on the champion. The big thing also coming into the day was that Young had this record on Akali. His LeBlanc strong. He's really strong on the melee champions. So I think that Maokai and Sejuani open up 80s mid and also open up melees for Young, where he's always really specialized in that. So I think that I expected a really high priority to be put on those champions. Also expected Fake God to never get Rumble. And that was permaban for the series. He's not getting that champion for the rest of the tournament. Unless I think EG might give it to him. But that's the one team I could actually see giving up Rumble. So yeah, I think that was the approach. So you can see that with this game, at least. Hold on. Yeah, they did let the Sejuani go through, but they at least had an answer for it. So it is a Sej first pick, but I think the Renekton plus the Poppy is decent. I was surprised that this wasn't a Jax. Aatrox does feel pretty good in the Poppy, because Poppy doesn't really do enough damage to you, and you can just kind of eat. If you don't get one shot, then you just feast as Aatrox later into the team fight against melees. But it was an early Ziggs pick. And Ziggs into these 3 champions feels so good. Like, you feel so good as Ziggs right here, because everyone has to jump into you. So Ziggs gets a lot of damage down in any and every fight, pretty much. From there, we have these 2 being taken. Also, I do want to shout out to Ivern bans. We saw Triss get banned out, but Ivern prevents something like Ivern Jace from going in, which should be good for Young as well. Great job on the cast today. Hey, appreciate that, Wonder Boy. I had a lot of fun covering this best of 5. So yeah, excited to look through it again, as I miss. There's always some things I missed here and there, and things I can get better at. So, but get to know our teams a little bit better here too. Like listening to you though. Hey, I appreciate that. I do my best. That's all I'll say. Always glad when people enjoy it. So I can only control the work. So when people enjoy it, it does mean a lot to me. But yeah. So this is a decent core. I really like Poppy into Sedge. You can somewhat shut down Sedge. You also feel really good into Rel. Ziggs feels good into everything. I feel like Fear have a good start in this draft. They take away Akali, something that you can use to threaten Ziggs in the backline later, and something that Young's just really good at, and synergizes with Sejuani. And also Meech's Aphelios, which I thought was very fair. He's very proficient on that champion, so I think if Fear don't have any other bans, taking that away is fine. I thought that when I saw Yone, it was actually going to be a Azir for Young. But he ends up going the Blanc after Rakan was showing. I was a little bit surprised by that. I feel like Azir would have set up a little bit better. Azir feels really good in everything but Ziggs. But it ends up being the LeBlanc and the Auction. So Auction really wants to win sides, and Auction can side lane for free in this game. So the 4-1 or the 1-3-1 setups are pretty good. Oh, wow. That's high praise, Wonderboy. I appreciate that. And yeah, I appreciate you not saying like not to put down anyone else, because I hate when people, that's like a pet peeve of mine. I hate when people put down casters to praise others. Not necessary, but I really appreciate that. We can praise casters without putting down others, right? Goes for players too. So Fear, they want to stretch the map, and I think the big keys for Fear are that Renekton wins early, and Auction should win sides later. When you think about sides, because eventually Renekton does get outscaled by these two side laners, but Auction should outscale both of them. So I actually kind of think that Fear have a nice bridge to get these two into the later parts of the game. I thought their comp was actually pretty well balanced. But yeah, I liked Fear's draft. The Ziggs goes really hard this game. I think Meech, the Saber pick was asked earlier in the chat, but Saber is good into mages because of the spell shield and because you can match a lot of the wave clear, and you scale really hard. So that's why we see the Saber here. I feel like this does patch up some of the holes that this guys ended up having in their draft, because Ziggs is so efficient here. So I actually really did like this pick. I think that's why we ended up getting LeBlanc and not Azir, for that reason. Still think, personally... No, this isn't a Silas angle. All right, never mind. I love Young's Silas, so I always look for Silas angles. I think Young takes really good angles in the fights. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay, so early game. Renekton wins into Aatrox, but I know that Aatrox like can win the matchup later on. This is also a champion that Fake Out's really comfortable on. Historically has been very good at. First Cubby stream I'm tuning into. Hey, I appreciate that, Shrox boys. Are you a Toast fan by chance?
Could be great, but like you said, Cummy.
Hey, the follow too.
The amount of timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy.
Yeah, how many Toast fans do we have in here?
We're just disguised fans. Like you said, Cummy, with the amount of
YC fan? Oh hell yeah. We'll see YC tomorrow. I'm excited for that one. Friends with Masu personally? Were you one of the friends that played with him like when he was climbing up to Diamond by chance? Because I talked to him about that. Meech fan since the LBGN days? Holy shit. It's like when I started casting. DSG? I knew that one. 3 appearances in a row on the Hotline League. Huh. Get turned on to you by your appearance on the show. Crazy, good depth knowledge about the game. I appreciate you. Oh, nice. No, I try my best. I hit GM in season 10. It was early season peaker. But I hit Diamond 1 playing every role at one point on the ladder. I've been like playing back since season 3 I hit Diamond. No, season 4 I hit Diamond. No, season 3 I hit Diamond. But I competed collegiately and then I coached my team. So I love this game. I've been around for a while. And so being a caster, I started casting when COVID had lost my job, started doing this. So it's kind of just been riding it since. All right, this ends up being really nice from Young. So what happened here in this game is that it was... Sorry, I'm going back, covering jungle clears. Tomio just shows mid and just gets a little bit of mana out of Shochi, honestly. Then he goes to his camps. I thought it was curious that he went straight to the Gromp. I think that he was doing the Gromp here just in case you see Poppy go for the dive, because this enables him to defend it the best he can after the first 3. So... Poppy ends up showing mid for Nada. This is a bit inefficient for parry. I think if parry gets up in the face of Tomio right now, he doesn't have red buff, but it's winning. So I think one adaptation I might have made for Fear here is that if parry gets a red buff, then goes in, maybe he finds a winning fight. Met Meech when he was on Frost Aura. Oh, shit.
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy.
Milky Pirate, thanks for the follow. Yeah, so we see Parry gets chased out here. He doesn't have a red buff, so it's not winning. If he has red, it's playable. But he goes back in, he gets stuck. This was tough from Parry. It was not his best play. So Tommy gets a head start and gets out. That was really big for Disguised. Really big for Disguised. He doesn't get his Wolves, which honestly, I don't really blame him for, as he is going up against Akshan. I think that he might have been able to greet his Wolves, but getting the respawn Krugs are more valuable anyway, so. My close friend, so introduced Masu, did. Oh, cool. Queued a bit together. Masu on the channel. Yep. He told me about that. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I almost interviewed Masu to help him try and get a visa originally when he joined Fly. So I did talk to him for a bit there, and that's when he kind of told me like how he got started. I've been really impressed with this player split. Really impressed. So. He was stuck here for a while, yeah. Okay, so first dragon is taken by Tomio. He's a little bit ahead in the jungle. And I think what's really tough right now about the map for Fear is that Shochi, because he doesn't have the flash, and because he roamed, so if we go back. So you're going to see, watch the mid wave here. Because Shochi goes down. He goes back to catch it. But from here, he doesn't have flash. And he has to be really careful, actually, about Sejuani. Because if he gets caught and goes down, like that lane can end pretty fast. So he has to kind of wait till his 2-item spike now. And Shochi doesn't rush Wit's End. So I used to have a mid laner that played Akshan that was like GM. And he rushed Wit's End against LeBlanc and thought that that was winning after Vamp. So you go Vamp Wit's End. Just to straight up like win the matchup hard. It ends up being Bork for Shochi, which is it's really efficient this game. And when you get Wit's End, you like hard win the side. But it's gonna be a little bit delayed. And because he doesn't have flash, it's really hard for him to actually play as far up and pressure as hard as you can in this matchup. So it ends up being a pretty big deal. Huge Philip fan also. Yeah, Philip's a funny guy. Before today's series, Philip sent me a really funny image actually. So we have the dive here. Fake God doesn't have 6 yet. He misses that creep. Gets knocked into the wall. This is a good chain. Fear reset the tower aggro. Fake God does hit 6 during this. And then Zeyzal covers. This is really good from Zeyzal. So you can see Zeyzal bases here while the dragon's being taken because Fake God's like TPing back up here and is like, hey, we're taking dragon. I'm going to TP in. I could get dove, right? So he ends up getting dove, and then Zeyzal comes straight here on the cover and saves his ass. So, like, this early game right now is so good for this guys. Like, they got, honestly, everything they wanted. Like, Fake God still gets starved out massively, but he would have lost this wave too. So, like, he's down, but this could be worse, and this is a great roam from Zeyzal. Really great read from Zeyzal on the map. Really good read. Yeah, Philip. I was a little bit bummed as well. Good kid. Yeah, I thought he was his best. All right, so Fear from this They still have, like, they don't have Renekton quite yet. And Perry just dinged 6. So Perry actually leached 6 off the wave. But once Meech shows bot, he does have that TP. So I guess Disguise, think about this. I didn't like this contest from Disguise. Like, I think if Philip has ult, and it's not contestable. You can really control the fight with Poppy. If you keep his verdict summoned away, it's a big deal. And they could have just kept Meech, Meech down bot to push things up. So I was actually pretty surprised that they didn't elect to keep the Sivir bot and just get a couple plates on her. Instead, they try to contest. Meech does TP in, but he doesn't get involved in the fight. And then they throw Ziggs ult over the top. It's a really nice ult from Tomio, because the Keeper's Verdict actually misses. So he gets the ult off and sidesteps it. But he does lose he wins the flip on the objective. But it still is a win for Fear. I didn't like this from DSG. I think that DSG should have elected to just get plates on the Meech bot. Because if Sivir like gets a couple waves in, and like all of a sudden she has way more wave clear, you can again always pressure like one of the sides with Sivir, or pressure mid, like clear out mid, like pressure one of the sides. Like she shoves waves so hard, so it gives you a lot of control over the map. Not to mention she's huge late game, and you're electing into fist fighting Renekton at Herald, which is, I think we saw the strength of Renekton at Herald for like this entire game. So Philip's really far ahead thanks to some of the focus that Fear put into him, and then he was just the big beneficiary, or benefactor, I should say, off of that fight around Herald. I think Philip has high ceiling. Glad to see we have some Philip fans in the chat. I talked to the Fear boys. They're a bit bummed after but they're like, we'll see in LA for finals still. So hopefully they can book that ticket. They put up a hell of a fight. It's a pretty banger series. All right, so Dragon spawning here soon. Young gets a pretty nice chunk on the Shochi, who just TP'd back. He's up a level. Not bad. You can see JJ is going to go find Zeyzal. Zeyzal got solo plates from that Herald. The Dream. And JJ burned W onto Zeyzal. He got caught. I think a big part of the reason that Shochi decided to not follow up this play. You can see Shochi's W'd, but then he gets spotted out by the control ward, and he doesn't continue walking down, so JJ and Perry get stuck. So Herald kept Manui in deep. So JJ started the fight. He was on his own. He goes down. So just an oopsie. I feel like that's a bit of a miscomm from Fear. Like it looks bad for JJ, but that's definitely like once they saw the control word, it gets bad. Ban from DSG, more comfy for sure. Ziggs is so good in the Sejuani opener, so we'll talk about that. I mean, we talked about that a bit here, but we'll talk about it more later. Also, they played it really well with the Poppy. It's like Ziggs Poppy is really good. Poppy can keep people in place for Ziggs. So again, they bleed Meech here to take the dragon. If they're gonna remove anyone from the map, removing Meech is good. I didn't like the Shiv from Meech. I know it's more push to try and answer the mage, but I feel like Sivir brings so much in the first place, and Kraken Slayer is just so goddamn efficient. I kind of wish it was a Kraken. Meanwhile, Philip is fist fighting. And this was kind of insane from Fake God. So I thought it was going to be like a Q flash. He does Q there. And then Philip... He already burned the flash. But I think I was able to get out, which is actually pretty nice.
Like you said, Cummy, with the amount of...
Shanier, 513,
but like you said, Cummy, with the amount of... Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy, with the amount of...
For any new viewers tonight, it's my wonderful roommate Rafa having one of the funnier moments on broadcast. His heart keeps a straight face after that one. Bro, Rafa's killing it. Yeah, man. I'm happy for him. So they try and attack the Renekton here. Sejuani, of course, playing towards the melee. Not bad, but Renekton buys so much time and is so damn strong they can't move the Renekton right now. So those are some resources that are now not available for the second Herald because 2 ults were burned on the top side. So I thought that this Herald fight was very much fear favored. They wanted it. I know Mark's really hoping he gets to cast a Newark, so I'm rooting for him. All right, this was a bit unlucky / So for me again, I'll get your question in a sec, Milky Pirate. This is like Fear should be able to win this fight because these 2 cooldowns are missing up here. So I think that this should be Fear favored for the Herald. This play on the Young is just not needed. Like Tomio, they should know that Tomio's here. The fact that JJ eats the chain, like he just eats it. If Fear simply lets the Renekton show out this wave because like Herald's on the map, all they have to do is just wait for Renekton to get this wave in, and then they can use that to then play the Herald. So this was a really weird one for me. Especially with Shochi going to base. So this is Fear not being synced up. Flowers announced on Caster Scout she was doing the finals, but they hadn't decided on the first series this time of recording. Yeah. I mean, it's that's no surprise. You gotta have Flowers in finals, man. That guy is really damn good at this job. So that's a big deal for me because like when I look at the map here, I think that Herald should have been an advantageous fight in position for Fear, especially with the strength of Renekton. But it does end up going to DSG's favor. So this game's looking decent for DSG. But they kind of like run into this mid-game lull where like Sivir doesn't really get online again until she gets 3-4 items. Or doesn't like really become like that full bearing or like big ass champion until 3-4 items. And I think they misplayed around Ziggs a lot coming up here. This game was quite the game. Abby for Mazel. Yeah, go check out Mazel's Twitter, guys. I casted with Mazel today, and he has a big announcement on his Twitter. Okay, in terms of the Poppy question in the chat, I wish the Poppy top was played more. I actually really don't know why we haven't seen more Poppy top. I think that champion's really strong, and it's a really good flex. But I genuinely can't answer why. I think that it's like, I don't know, maybe NA just cares more about the early Herald fights. Because with Poppy, you usually do have to seed Herald fights. You can't contest something like... You have to, like, it takes a little bit more time to contest something like a Renekton, right? But I love Poppy top. Cowboy Mazel. Oh, we had on the range. Don't worry. We had more on the range. He's still cowboying. Philip gets out here, which was nice. So this for me, this is a oops from DSG. They keep on trying to attack the Renekton because they really can't like attack the Auction. So Fake God TP's down here, and Auction gets the top turret off it. Razork's Poppy pick was a free win. I didn't see as much LEC. So Philip actually saves the bot tower, and Fear is able to get this wave or top outer and then get the wave in deep as well, which is really good. So I think that was an overinvestment from DSG. Attacking the Renekton who was ahead early is really difficult, and DSG did it twice and got punished for it. I have during LCS challenge, yeah. It might be on our Twitter. Our Twitter's path to LCS. If not, it'll be on there in the next couple days. Okay, so I think the two failed plays on the Renekton actually bought Fear a lot of time and space on the map. And Fear's at a much better state right now. Because once Shochi gets the Wit's End, you cannot move him out of the side lane. It's really hard for Aatrox to get on him. Like, Aatrox, you have to cancel the swing, which is tough. And then LeBlanc needs 16 to even like have a chance, and any poke he lands just gets sustained by Shochi. So, yes, this is where you start to see the game get hard. All right, so we have Dragon coming up here. 25 seconds. So you can see that Fear, because like Akshan catches slash fixes top here. And then the Renekton gets bot in deep. So when they get bot in deep, they do a nice job of making sure that, like, there are no wards behind them, because flanking angles are really good on Ziggs. And then Perry, Philip has Vision of Young here. So Perry's actually able to go in on LeBlanc, and Manui just full combos with Steadfast Presence and Poppy. So Young's at least forced out. And that ends up being like a massive chunk. So Meech blows ult, and now it's DSG fighting into Ziggs, and this is the real strength of Ziggs. Because with Ziggs, you can hold this choke and hold this. Like, this pocket for Ziggs right here is so good. Because it's really tough for teams to play against Ziggs. Like, if he has vision over this wall, if he gets to hold this pocket, you're pretty much forced to, like, play through bot. Because then when you're playing through bot, you can at least kind of play up in the map and have these... You almost, like, play 3 lanes when you play through bot when you're playing on Dragon, right? So you have River, and then you can try and find flank angles onto the Ziggs. And you actually can threaten Ziggs from here, right? Whereas if you are controlling this area as Fear, and Ziggs gets to put in minefields here, he had vision over here, he saw what he did to Young. This is like the dream spot for Ziggs. So I think that Fear do a really nice job of setting this up and controlling this area of vision. And it's really tough for DSG to get in now. So Young has TP back, he's chunked, he gets back though, that's really nice. And now you can see DSG is in a little bit of a better spot, but Zeyzal goes early. Somewhat forced. Because Zeyzal spotted. And JJ just goes. I think that's really nice from JJ. Shochi has to flash. Wait. Manui tries a satchel over and... Oh, that's a blower. I think he's actually glad he missed that one, honestly. It still's enough, though, where like Tomio, Zeyzal, and Meech are all kind of low. And JJ can heal up off the drag. Now Young. Look at this bomb from Manui. So Manui throws a bouncing bomb that is aimed at this. And then Shochi is able to find the slow from the Bork in his queue, and Young gets one tapped. He had flash, decided not to use it. Young had the flash out there. He might have still been dead. His distortion was coming back up there soon, but that's a mistake. DSG have to drop this. That did drop a lot of tempo for DSG on the map. That's Fear's second Mountain Dragon. So now it's an even gold game. 2 Mountain Dragons are more valuable than the dragons that DSG has right now. And you can see how Fear's comp has come online a little bit. Akshan with these 2 items is a lot more valuable. Ziggs doing decent damage. It's really tough for DSG to play in the Ziggs. Like, they need... I think that for DSG, that pocket they were playing through, they need to have more bot lane priority and then play through bot into the Ziggs to try and play through that mid pocket. I don't think you can play through that mid pocket going into bot river against the Ziggs. It's really tough. All right. Map's quiet at the moment. Tough part about this comp for Fear is that they don't really have a great way to do Baron. I honestly don't know what Akshan's DPS is like on a Baron. Ziggs is not bad with the Andres. I mean, Akshan in theory has Bork. Maybe it's not terrible, but it's dangerous. Like, there's no reason to really risk it for them when they can play out the lanes the way they are now. But you can see, like, they just want to play around dragons, and because Philip's so far ahead, Philip can always get these waves in deep. So when you get the bot wave in deep, it's really tough to get wards behind the Ziggs when you do get the dragon set up. So Philip's been past that river point on the bot side for the majority of the game, and this has really opened up like that setup where Ziggs can't be threatened from behind when they are able to find the setup in this area of the dragon that we see right now. There's one ward snuck in here by DSG. It's a minor improvement, but we're going to attack this again. So Philip, he doesn't go to that wave bot. I think given the timer, I actually would have liked to Philip got this wave in on the bot side. I think hitting that's fine. So like it's pushing in slowly. It's a bit of a risk. Like it ends up being a nice play for Philip because Perry goes in pretty deep here. But Zazel gets stuck and he doesn't get over this wall. JJ finds Tomio. This is big though. So Manui, he walks out of Glacial Prison up north. And then Young is on him with no peel. But it's a nice natural charge from Manui. And then that minefield keeps him very safe. So Young can't push past that. Perry does go in and dies. He doesn't have any help right here. So this is a mistake. But the Ziggs ult was really high value. Like he ulted 4 and that's how low everyone got. That's pretty significant. It's a lot of damage. I really like this from Fear. So my thought is that in the Fear comms right now, Fear is going like they don't have a smite, and it's a 5v4 for DSG, so they have numbers, right? They have Sivir ult running. DSG, they cannot start a Baron against the Ziggs. They can't. They don't have the health bars to actually do that against Ziggs, where if Fear chases them, like, and they start hitting Baron in front of Fear, there's no way they can touch the Baron. So I really like what Fear is doing here, because Fear is, I think someone in the comms had to have been like, guys, they can't do the Baron, approach slowly, like play it slow, right? That's a phrase we hear a lot, play this slow. So like, are they pressuring? Yeah, in a sense they are. Like they keep vision of disguise. But Manui, like he's on, like that bouncing bomb is really smart. JJ, he pops the ult. So Young then has to retreat. They actually catch Fake God out, where again they just get down more damage. So the soul laners of this guys, they do have TPs, but they have vision over this Baron. There's a red trinket back here. Yep, they get a ward down. And now they know that, like, hey, they're too low. They have to reset. Like, let's go hit the dragon ourselves. I thought that was a really small but really nice moment from Fear. Where, like, they just kind of, like, keep the pressure on. It's a 5v4, but they understand, like, guys, their tools are down. We can't actually walk up. Like, we can do this. And now we get another fight. Where Perry gets here right in time. You can see the minefield and the choke. And this was one where Tomio actually still catches Manui somehow. But Perry, he stays hidden here. This is really smart from Perry. Manui gets hit, but Perry just absolutely stymies them with the W. So Young gets canceled. Young gets one shot. And then the fight split. I was really, really clever from Perry. He wasn't spotted. That ward was dropped afterwards. So Zazel throws the ward down over the wall now. Really, really well done by Fear and Perry there. Really nice. Him not showing ends up being really valuable. So Baron for Fear. And that dragon, it's our third fight around the dragon. So in a way, DSG actually, they have to push this because the current map state is that Shoshi's top and he doesn't have TP. Whoops, that's a terrible, that completely whiffed. So DSG, even in the face of Baron, are actually able to take this. But Zeyzal gets one shot. And Shoji's not showing bot anymore, so now they got to get out. There he gets it. Zeyzal doesn't know he's spotted right now. It's clever. That's really clever. Wow. I missed that. They had info on Zeyzal, I missed that. That ended up being really big. They just made an informed decision and did a nice job of focusing him down. I don't mind the idea from Zeyzal. Like, they still had a numbers advantage, but at this point, I think they're outpaced until Sivir can save them. So Sivir's working on BT, which is nice. She needs Vamp against all this poke. That's smart. Watch Ziggs damage. 1568. 750. Philip's too far up here. I said on cast that Philip was dead once he eat out here. So he eat out like there. I was like, oh, he's dead. Keeper's verdict goes wide. JJ tried to save him, and they should have cut their losses. It's a nice, good spells actually used there by Manui to try and help, but they should have cut their losses. They was 2. They don't get the inhibitor. That's an oops from Philip, and Fear. Honestly, that did hurt them, because the goal went over to Meech. So Meech gets a kill and assist. And watch what Meech gets in base here. Sells the Vamp Scepter. Waits. One shots LDR. That's a big deal. I like the look at the top side for Fear. They have lots of armor, and there are no steel caps. You do need treads this game, but that is a big deal. All right, so Fear push up again, and I think that one of the weaknesses for Fear in this game, like the Sivir does have a lot of wave clear that can match, but Fear also like I think jungle is their friend. It gives Poppy a lot more power. It gives Ziggs a lot more power with the chokes and the walls. Shochi can fog, and playing the front to backs here. So you're gonna see the steadfast presence is up right now from Perry. So Perry uses it to stop the Sedge, but like that's super worth it. It's like the least valuable thing you can use it on. And then he goes for a buckler. Zeyzal finds a really nice engage. And they just one shot. We're going to see that a couple times here. So another push from Fear fails. That's why this game gets stalled out. So that's steadfast presence. Once that's down, that's when DSG looks to turn. And it's a nice adaptation from DSG. And we see that later in the series too. Where they try and really bleed out that cooldown and then go afterwards. So in comms, like they're looking for ways like get that out. So in a way, Tomio queuing into that and getting that was actually really smart. That was a low value W. So then that Zeyzal can follow that up, go in, gets a very high value engage. DSG actually get Baron off this. But they give up Soul. I didn't love this one. I think their reasoning was that they didn't play bot side of the map for the last like 5 minutes. So they didn't know what kind of wards were there. I think that DSG, the issue with this game is that if they wanted to play for the Dragon, they had to actually approach through bot instead of mid, because the Ziggs was very strong holding these chokes. Bot, like I said, the river setup, if you can set up in that bot river, it does give you a lot more options to try and attack the Ziggs. All right, let's see. Ziggs. Nice. So LeBlanc just gets one tapped by Poppy Ziggs. It's definitely something that's very unique to the Ziggs. Guys, we're still in game 1. There's another game that goes to Elder. There's another game that goes to Elder. This one, though. Honestly, I wish I could go. I said I was gonna, try and go to like 1.5 or 2x for these best of 5s. They're a little bit more important. I feel like I should skip more of this game. This game gets so boring. Because Fear just decides that they go Baron instead of Elder. This is, so we talked about interrupting Akshani. It's really big that Fake Out was able to do that there on the Shochi. He got his flash. What's in the cup? Coffee. I've got tea, coffee, and water with me. We're in this for the long haul, guys. I will be getting a beverage of the adult variety after VoD review, though, for Teamfight Manager. We saved that, though, for Teamfight Manager. I don't work the next couple days, so we'll celebrate 2 hour days of work. And there's no league tonight, so in a way, it's my night off, honestly. I could watch and also get Challengers League, but we're going to stream some Teamfight Manager. Maybe I'll put that up on my TV I have like up here behind me. Or behind you guys, I should say. Alright, so we're just waiting for the double monster objective spawn. They are synced up. You can see Fear is taking over the top side because they have... I think they did this because the one inhibitor they have to crack is this top one. So I think that's why their control's here. But honestly, if I was Fear, I would have shifted it into the bot side to just take this Elder and take it cleanly. I really don't... I think Fear mucked up the... Like, they're trying to get this last inhibitor, but I think that at this point, they should have just been committed to playing the Elder. So what happens here? See yet again. Parry W's Sejuani, and Zazel's like, fork it. We go. Manui can't join. The Ziggs ult is pretty high value, because... Oh, man. Tomio. So, this is actually kind of neat. Watch Meech. She's going to Spell Shield here. So, JJ ults. Meech has Spell Shield. But Tomio actually cancels that Grand Entrance with his Glacial Prison, which is pretty high value. So, Meech takes a lot of damage. They're just pumping damage in the fill-up. They knock 2 away. Harry doesn't find Young with that one. So, Fear, like, they win the fight. They have all the prio, and they use it to take the Baron, which is right there. I think Fear thought they could have gotten both, but that's just not the case. They don't go through Baron fast enough with their comp and this build. So, they lose out on this trade. Parry's even holding Smite to try and contest this, but don't get here in time. Parry's just barely late. But this was silly from Fear. I think Fear should have hard committed for the Elder, and that's something they probably talked about. Maybe not so much after this game, but after the series for sure. Just because, like, a ton of Elder scenarios, like, you don't really get later. Or, like, I think it was more useful for them to tackle other stuff after this first game. So now we're just in a stalemate, guys, because you can't fight an Elder, and then it's Baron up creeps. So Elder's winning here. Fear can't take any fights. They're just going to try and do their best to clear the waves with the Ziggs. See, Tomio fishes here. But it's caught by Parry. And they get JJ. Which, I mean, it's nice, but it's not going to win you anything. Still get some gold. At this point, gold doesn't matter that much. Sivir's got GA. So it's not like Sivir's getting a lot more by farming. And you can see the poke from Ziggs is just ridiculous. Fear Chase. They actually get Young as Flash because of the late game red buff. And then Shochi pushes all the way up, chases them off, takes inhib. That was really nice from Shochi on the Akshan. I liked how Akshan fogged a lot this game. And it really sucked that they died to a late game Akshan W. Which was caught off camera. Oh, man. All right, we are still in this game 1. Zazely uses a sweep to get in here. That's nice. This time around, Fear's like, all right, we should probably play the Elder, right? So they've gotten control of the bot side jungle. And Shochi's just fogging up. I really think the only reason the Fear's here is because, like, they're trying to control bot side jungle. I think that one member of Fear could be on bot, but they have lost the last couple hard engages that DSG have found. Perry needs to be careful with how he holds W. He definitely knows this by now. This game got, let's say, a little bit stale. Zazel eats 1 bomb from Ziggs, and that's where his health is. Nice. Horizon focus for Manui. He's not really getting pressured this game, so he went for more damage. I respect it. Fake God tries to find the Ziggs. He is on his own, but it's a really nice satchel charge from Manui. And Fake God actually gets caught. Tommy Alt goes wide. So Fake God is able to sneak out of here. And they get Perry's flash. That's still a huge win for DSG, or Fear, I should say, right before the Elder. And then Shochi hits W, and then flashes on the Meech, and Meech dies, and that's game. It was a really lame way to end a game that was stalemated for a while, but I feel like was Fear favored, minus the Sivir. I think it's really tough for DSG's comp to operate in Ziggs, and Ziggs ended up being huge this game. That was game 1. Do we show a damage graph for the Ziggs? Oh, yeah, we're going to 1743. Yeah, we're just going to show this to the stream real quick so you guys can enjoy this one. That's fun. That's fun. All right. Game 2. Adaptations. Poppy was banned this game. So they take away the Poppy instead of the Seraphine. So it is Sejuani, and then Jax instead of Aatrox, and the Azira we talked about. But this core for Fear, I really like. I think this core is really good. I think Seraphine loves her life against Sejuani, and Jax for that matter. Renekton and Kindred get really buffed up by this. And it's a matchup that you can play into Azir. Now, what ends up happening is that they take the Ziggs. It's Xayah Rakan bot, which I like. They put the Ziggs mid and Seraphine bot. I like Seraphine into Azir. Darkwing said that the Ziggs lane is a little bit easier to execute into Azir. I assume it's because of Satchel. I was thinking that player comfort, my guess is that Fear is just more comfortable with Shochi Ziggs and Manui Seraphine, but I think each player can play both. I really like the Nautilus this game too. Nautilus synergizes really well with Seraphine ult. Because you get the knockups from the depth charge and the Seraphine ult. It's really nice. Also gives you some early playmaking with this. So I liked Fear's draft again. They still have a marksman. This is like a high value support with CC bot. This gets critically outranged by all of this. And Perry RNGs. Perry went full RNGs mode this game. He got so many marks so early on. All right. I like my dark roast I have right now. All right. So early trade, it's W starts for the Xayah Rakan, so they actually get flash out of JJ. I don't think this is that bad. Nautilus has Hex Flash. They got level 2 first still. They got 2 sums out. I thought that trade was actually pretty good from JJ even when he burned Flash. Jungler's mirrored pathing. And Perry, this hover for me was really weird from Perry again. I think he's just making sure that Shochi got back okay. Which, this is a really early base from Shochi. I don't exactly know Ziggs into a zero lane, so I think the early TP was actually kind of weird for me. I think he just was trying to get mana, but like this isn't a great base for mana either. So yeah. I wish I knew more about this one. I will say that Zir, you have to stand still every single time you auto as Zir, so Ziggs, some really nice windows for him, not to mention that if Zir goes in, it's punishable. As Phil's playing really careful up here, he knows that Sejuani would have ended this clear on this side of the map. And it's some really good tracking here from Tomio. I do really want to credit the tracking from Tomio onto the Kindred. But fortunately for Perry, he is able to pick up his first mark. JJ might have been happy that one went wide. And with that, JJ is able to help brute force a camp away for Perry. So Perry gets to return to his respawn camp. CD 9-1 from Tomio, and Tomio can't answer. It's a mirrored clear again. So if you can test one, you win. You can go back to your mirrored side of the jungle and be fine. And Perry actually does something kind of really smart here, I think.
Like you said, with the amount of...
So watch this, guys. Tomio spotted by this control word, right? So he clears this out. And Perry actually... They sneak the dragon. But Perry kind of guesses they're going to be doing the dragon. So he actually gets in here, drops a ward, and then his mark spawns on the Gromp. So he gets another mark from this Gromp. And then he goes for the wolves. And Tomio guessing, because Tomio, keep in mind that Tomio had a ward on the Raptors and the Krugs a minute earlier for the Kindred. So he didn't see Kindred on either of those. And he wasn't contested on the Dragon. So he guesses correctly that his top camps are gone, and he responds in kind. This was a nice moment, I think, from each of our junglers again in this game. Or again in this series, I should say. And the one change that I would make here is that I don't think JJ needs to be here instantly. Or wait, hold on. No, he's back here. I think JJ... He hits 4 here. I want JJ actually to go, after this, go up to Gromp. Because if they spot Tomio here, then Perry can actually run through mid and they can try and maybe cut him off. Or make a play on bot. He also has his camps up here. But I think that that would be like a nice small win in terms where JJ wouldn't drop anything and they'd be able to track jungle again. So it was vertical jungles for that clear. And I think each of our junglers actually responded really well. So well played both Tomio and Perry there. All right, Perry has 6. Tomio as well. Map's pretty chill. It's double mage, so they want to get items online for fear. I think one item is where you can hit the comp pretty hard is double mage. But this is really well done by DSG. A really positive play for them again. Tomio's on the map first. They do a good job setting up vision and making sure that Perry can't answer. And they go for this play because they have great info. JJ goes to auto a creep. That creep was punished very hard. As they get flash out of Manui. Let me get out of here. It's really, really, really well done. They will happily sack Herald for a play like this. Especially as Manui's flash is down. So a little bit of gold going over to Meech. Herald fight, when you have, like, if Seraphine comes to Herald fight with Kindred Renekton, there is no fight for DSG, in my opinion. It's really tough for them to fight that. So I really like the play they have here. With that said, we did just get out of a replay, and Tomio's trying to sneak, at least get his top camps, even though Fear's strong on the top side. JJ, though, able to find a combo on the Tomio who doesn't have ult or flash from the last play, so they just melt Tomio. So Perry gets his 4th mark of the game, which is really big. So I credit Fear on the answer, and then Zazel Gets chunked out. Perry gets level 7, so Perry's ahead now. As that Herald 2, get more. Well, that's a lot of gold for Perry, not to mention on the pickup, but also on the drop. So Kindred set up a lot better. Still a decent game right now for Disguise, but Fear, their comp really hits a stride coming up here. Other thing is that if you can't remove Seraphine from this 5-stack, I think it's really tough for DSG to play. A lot of it's going to come down to Young, but Young is still playing Azir into Ziggs. So like even going, you have to go in to use your ultimate to interact with Lamb's Respite, but going through a Ziggs is really tough to do. Not to mention like Renekton as well. You're jumping into that. So you have to get dirty pretty much as Young. So I thought that there was... the Kindred setup was pretty good this game for Fear. And I think it was really tough for DSG to play into Kindred Seraphine. And they're just outranged by everything later. All right, so we have the rinse and repeat play bot. Manui doesn't have flash. It's a really good play here by DSG. Just want to... Zeyzal. Flash charm to W Manui. Gets around the encore. Tomio buffers the ult. This was actually really insane from DSG. This is really clean from DSG. So I really like that answer again. You have to hit the Seraphine now. They took her off the map. That was really good. But they Herald mid, and it's Ziggs, so... Tower falls. Next wave, or it falls soon. It's really tough. That falls that wave. F and Ziggs, man. Throws a W and takes a point and a half. Alright, this fight was also bad from Fear. So, I think that, like, it's a really nice buffer from JJ, and I like the idea of turning on the Tomio. Like, he doesn't have Aftershock. I think it's a good depth charge. So he can combo with the Ziggs. Perry's idea is that he can go in and finish up Young. But Perry ends up getting, like, chain CC'd. So Tomio, like, instantly... And I don't know if this was on purpose. Because he's going to get autoed here. And so he's buffering with a Q. But he Qs into Perry, and Perry just gets one shot. So Perry doesn't want to Lamb's Respite because they want to kill Young. And also he gets chain CC'd, so he gets one tapped. Young actually ends up going in and getting a flash on Manui, which is really sick. It's a good flash from Young. I don't think he needs to push. I think he should have pushed out instead of pushed up. But I think he needs to push up to get the kill. But either way, pretty sweet from Disguised. As like Perry falls, they take him off the map. It's a big deal. 1 and 2, you kind of knew DSG could reverse sweep. So many game breaking mistakes at the end of game 1 and 2. Very cool. They learned from the mistakes in game 3 and 5. Yeah, I agree. Like DSG had leads in all these games, you know. It's just that the double mage broke them. Because Meech has a lead, but he can't auto against Seraphine Ziggs later. And they just group with Seraphine. It's cool. These teams, Scrim versus LCS teams, that's a good question. Yes. I will say it's a little bit difficult, though, because their schedules are inverse, right? So usually, there's a little bit more crossover, but because of the player walkout, it was a condensed schedule. So LCS competed on the days that Challengers scrimmed, and then Challengers competed on the day that LCS scrimmed. So there's only 1 day of overlap, but what ended up happening is that there were a lot of night blocks, because it was a condensed schedule and teams started doing night blocks to kind of like figure stuff out to get more practice. So there were like some of our Challengers teams, like I know that they would have a competition day and then they would play a night block against LCS teams sometimes. And of course our Challengers players, like they love to play against LCS teams, right? It's better competition and like they have a chance to prove themselves, so it's cool. Also, Kyle the Shark. I don't know if I hit your follow or not, but thanks. I know that was a couple minutes ago. That's my bad. All right. So this is where things start to get iffy, I think, for Disguised. So they go for this play. Shochi sniffs it out. And Tomio Q's in here, so he's kind of stuck. JJ finds a decent dredge line. Tomio throws out his ult on Parry, which isn't very valuable, doesn't get much. And they get Meech's ult and flash. Now, Meech is fed. And if he's able to DPS, it's really big. But now, those two cooldowns are missing before the dragon. Because when I hit play here, you're going to see dragons 55 seconds away. The ult cooldown for Xayah is super long early. Like, I want to say it's like 160 seconds. So it's a really nice timer now where Fear can punish. And they have great tools to attack someone that doesn't have flash with 2 mages. Like, all they have to do is just depth charge Meech and he dies. Theoretically. So JJ flashes. It's not the biggest deal in the world. He has Hex Flash, and I think that early flash from JJ was warranted. He has a really good position here to try and at least defend the choke. Or at least defend like them walking in. If anyone walks too far up, they can get punished.
Holy shit, he's hot!
Hey, thanks for giving Ido a sub. Very nice of you, Moki Pirate. Ido, best of luck tomorrow. I'm excited for that best of 5. For those that don't know, Ido is the coach of EG Challengers. All right. So Zeyzal is not spotted here, and this is kind of the bot river setup I was talking about, where you can almost play out 3 lanes in the fight. So Zeyzal's hiding, and he shows. Let's go EG. What's up, Cal the Shark? So Zeyzal ults, and Zeyzal has a really sick flash here. He's going to flash over the dredge line of JJ. Finds solid backline. But Manui's saved by Lamb's Respite. So the Crown actually saved Manui here. And Young's ult wasn't valuable as it wasn't on Lamb's Respite. So he's trying to peel for Meech, but Meech has like no tools. Yes, Manui does go down. But Parry picks up Fake God really nicely here on the back half. And then Meech doesn't have any sums. So this minefield's really good from Shochi. And then Meech just ult like melts. Because Meech, again, doesn't have the ult yet. Because it's a super long cooldown. Xayah rank 1 and no flash. I thought that Fear played this out really nicely. This was the critical fight of the game for me. It's a good attempt from Zeyzal. But I think Fake God wasn't quite in a position to follow this up. And part of that is that Philip actually marked him. So I think if they want to go for this, what I would subscribe. Let me see Fake God's inventory here. I know it's going to go back a little bit. Fake God has a control ward. Does Fake God use that control ward? We're going to look out for Fake God's control ward. Oh, yeah, he threw it in the brush here, so he gets cleared out. So Fake God is no way over the wall. If they want to go for this, I think that they have to get Fake God over the wall. So I actually think Tomio has to stand down here. Fake God jumps over, and they try and set it up. Because then that's the only way they could have chain CC'd Manui down. That, or Young has to follow. And split the Kindred and the Seraphim. But that's a hard ask. Because like Young gets bombed here. And then he can't go through Philip. So, and then he ults Philip away. I think Young's ult was bad. There's a minefield right here. So, like, Shochi just keeps on dropping minefields in front of Young so that he actually can't engage. I think, like, that's correct on the Ziggs, and it's really well done here by Fear. I Fear Manui living, save this fight. Yeah, they do get Manui in the end. I think the only change is that Fake God or Young had to be there to execute. And then I think Shochi played this really well. I think a skill shot placement on Ziggs is actually really good. Every minefield seemed really high value and a really nice place there from Shochi. So well played. Each player from Fear definitely proved that they can play Ziggs. All right, Shochi goes for the tower. Yoopsh. Not necessary. See, Shochi damage is kind of insane that game, or that fight. And he went for second item death cap. Wow, it's actually super based. I didn't talk about that. So my theory on Ziggs is that I think that Ziggs, if you're gonna play in mid, you need to get him accelerated. You should be taking some Raptor camps, and then you go second item death cap. Because from this point on, Ziggs is super OP. Like, if you have CC to set up Ziggs and make sure he hits his damage, I think he's really OP actually. Source, I used to play this shit in high diamond solo queue because I was a support player. I could play Ziggs mid. I played enough to figure this shit out. All right. So JJ does trade his ult for Meech's. That's very high value. Temio tries to buy some space here. He gets satchel charge. He Qs away, but JJ hits a max ranger. And Meech can't fight here. So this is bad from Tomio. Tomio should Q over the wall right here. Zazel tries to save him. But it's like a 5v2, given the positioning of Fear versus DSG there. And they got Tomio out, so he has Smite. And he burned Flash, too, so that's a big mistake. They also just got Young's Flash, so that's huge. Good push from Fear. We don't play demos. Hey, this fight was weird. You can see how less useful Jax is going up against mages compared to, like, auto attackers. Like, look at how much damage he takes from flipping Ziggs plus Seraphine. When's the last time you've seen a Jax get one shot? So if you're getting a lot out of that grouping, a lot more gold in their shoulders, really big. This was a bad start for me from DSG. I get it if they hit it and they get the 2 TPs. Like, if I think they just walk out after the 2 TPs and reset. I love Fake God, but I love watching Jax go down that quick. LOL. Yeah. Fake God's been really good to split. He lulled a little bit in the middle of the second round robin, but he's been playing great in playoffs. So you're going to see how much damage Ziggs can do. Baron has a magic damage debuff. Teams take. Ziggs pretty much just one-shots 2 people. So Fake God ends up going really low. Manui's flash here, I think, was a little bit not warranted, but, like, look at how low everyone is for DSG. Meech doesn't have ult yet. He just got ult up. Like, Meech can't really step up and do anything. He's just outranged, and then Fear just get corralled. So Manui dies first. Like, this isn't even a Seraphine comp taking full advantage of Seraphine, and it's still Fear wiping because DSG stayed in the Barons. That was the mistake here. I think if they get the double TP and they know and they get out, it's really good, actually. Like, they just took 2 TPs away. They're going to be late on the Dragon, though, so I think that's why DSG really pressed this. It was more of a gambit like they thought Fear would be towards the Dragon, but not going to be the case. So they give up the Turo Baron buff. So yeah, even shout out sponsors on this stream, guys. If only I got paid for that. Holy Ziggs damage. JJ lives. Shout out to Aftershock. The GOAT. So Fear took bot inhibitor turret. They're going to shift up. They have a big wave. They're stacked up for Ziggs. You can see how tough it is for Young to, like, even just auto as Azir. It's just a really hard game. JJ is kind of in Narnia here. The Jax chases him off. So technically it's a 4v4. And JJ's, like, not with it, which is kind of okay for DSG. But it's still, like, you can see how badly they're getting outranged. This was kind of weird. So Fear has to actually push down the link with Nautilus, which is poorly played by them. I think that Philip needs to be split if anyone, but I think the 5 stack's actually fine for Fear. Zeyzal does something really cute here on Rakan and against Nautilus. Look at this. He's going to hug this wall, or he E's. I guess it gets hit by Tomio, but the Dredgeot doesn't fully connect. You're going to see Zeyzal. If you go through this VoD, you'll see Zeyzal do it a couple times through against Nautilus, where he gets hooked, but he can't be in position to get auto-attack. That's actually really good mechanics from Zeyzal. The Ziggs ult's into the Aftershock. As Tomio threw out his ult. It's fine. And then Zeyzal just decides to go. I don't mind this, honestly. Like, they need to find something. And they do split the Kindred. And Manui is, like, in a kind of a hard position. As Meech just guns him down. But they do get Young. Young's at least, like, out of the fight, right? Fake God finds one bonus one. They actually get onto the Ziggs, but then he satchels away. This was a good look from DSG. I think big part of the reason this ended up going well is because Manui was just in a terrible spot. He doesn't have flash up quite yet. And I think this fight, like, this fight's good because of the angle that Zeyzal takes. Because the angle that Zeyzal takes traps Manui here. So this is very well done by Zeyzal. This is really outstanding from Zeyzal, this angle. Manui's just not in a great position in the team fight, and they take full advantage of it. But, oh yeah. Meech. So Meech exits this way because of the Shochi flash. He kind of has to. But he still can't get out, which is tragic. Legend Bloodline. One mine into a satchel, man. Holy smokes. Oh, also, Fear had a really funny tweet about Ziggs. Shochi throws out ult because why not? Get the image numbers higher. So Tomio finds parry again. But Fake God. No one peels for Meech. And Philip one taps him. Meech again doesn't have flash or ult. So this is a mistake from Fake God. And Meech needs to, like, identify for his team, I think. Like, hey, I don't have ult. They're trying to one-shot parry. Fake God's job should be to peel Philip away from Meech here. And then should have used that to separate parry and then take, like, the shortened fight. So this is a rare mistake from Fake God in team fights. Meech didn't have his cooldowns up yet. And that's what ends the game. So miscommunication here from DSG. And they lose. So well done, Fear. Alright, guys. Real quick, before we hop into game 3, I'm going to show you guys some caster tech. I've been talking all day. I casted a best of 5. Hey, what's up, Rocco? Oh, you're going to put me on the spot already? Dude, tomorrow's fucking hard, man. I actually think whoever wins tomorrow goes to finals. Sorry, Fear. Tomorrow's hard. Alright, guys. The best cough drops on the planet. They did not send me these fisherman friends. Just throwing that out there. These cough drops are epic. They're very strong. So. It was an 8-game win streak, Rocco. Including regular season. Or no, 9. It was 9. It was 9. Yeah. I called it out later in the cast. Hey, he is. He played it out really well. It was this was a fun series. Like, literally, Fear was a clean Baron in game 3 away from a 3-0. And then this guy's brought it all the way back. It was really that close. Fake also said that Fear is not that good if you ban Ziggs. I mean, I think that's based on this series. It definitely showed. I'll give Fake God that for sure. Hold on, Rocco put me on the spot here, and I'm fucking nervous. Because I really... Yeah. I really think tomorrow is going to be a fun series. EG's improved a lot with this lineup. For me, so we talked about it today, Rocco. I know that EG is going to try and play 3 lanes against you guys. My question is, do you guys try and match or do you not? Because you showed that you can do both against them the first time. But EG is not going to make the same mistakes they did in the first game or the second game that you faced them when you play them now. Part of me, I think EG has a bit of edge in top lane. I think you guys have a bit of edge at marksman. I think that Smoothie's been playing really well for what it's worth, and him and Armeo linked up really good. I think the series ends up getting decided by mid. You better fucking ban Tristana from Ryoma. For the love of God, do not... You banned against him in the first series. Smart. Hold that ban. Keep that ban, baby, going in tomorrow, all right? I better not see Ryoma get a single fucking Tristana. Yeah. I'm not on the broadcast tomorrow, so I mean, yeah, I'll see you in 14 hours, though. It's part of the fun for me. I've seen you guys grief a couple games where you get leads, and that concerns me. I think it might come down to that tomorrow. Because I think if you get any leads against EG that you throw away, EG is a good enough team where they will close you out. So I'm going to give it... I really think it depends. Like, if you guys throw a lead in the mid game, I agree. I think too many games that come down to team fighting. Based on that, I will give it to you guys 3-2. But I actually think tomorrow's really close. And whoever wins tomorrow, I think makes finals. I will lean towards you guys 3-2 and lean a little bit on Masu. But what I'm looking out for is you guys need to make sure that if you get early game leads, that you finish them. EG shouldn't throw the way they did against you guys. So I honestly think it's like whoever throws tomorrow. If any team throws an early game lead, I think that the other team wins the series. In a way. I think it's really close. I think Surdy is probably the best top laner that is left. So I do think that Surdy is like really strong. But I think that you guys have a couple more tricks up your sleeve. And a little bit more styles that you can play. So I'm going to kind of give it to you guys based on that. Top lane stacked. Think it's best role in the last 4 teams? I think it's the role where no player is so weak that they lose you a series, you know? I think all those top laners, like, none of those top laners are like gonna like lose you a series, like just be straight up exploited, like in the entire best of series, you know? And I think that's like the one rule. As a wildcard fan, let's go EG. I respect that. Wow. I mean, I can see that with some other team. There's some exploitation. Can you do something for me? Can you open the play of the split? Who voted for that? I mean, it's a Twitch chat vote, but I can go find it on Path to LCS. We randomized the seating, and it was like based on the winners. The chat votes for all of them. Oh, these were funny. Sorry, they put the red flag, green flags up. That was a good bit by Sierra. Give me a sec. Here is the play of the split. When I played pro, my most play was Azir. That play hurts me so much. It's such a misplay. It's not hard to pen to that. Yeah, if you ult a different way, you get it. Here's where it's at right now. Perry's Penta 1. So Perry faces himself. So it's probably going to be Perry's Penta versus Young's play. I think Young wins as long as DSG is in the tournament. But this is it. But yeah. Alright, guys. I'm going to get back to the games, though. I would love to try and play some Teamfight Manager later tonight. So we're going to get into this one. All right. This game. Hey, look. Rocco. Your pick. It shows up. This was the deciding game of the series when you look back at the best of 5, in my opinion. I think this is the game where if Fear plays it out a little bit cleaner, this game ends in their favor. That said, I actually really like the theory of Fear's comp, and Darkwings and I really didn't like this LeBlanc pick. Because the Blanc into this is really tough to play into those 3. And the Kaisa kind of is a soft counter for you in lane. So, what I do like for Disguised is Maokai is really good for Tomio. It's his winningest champ. And Maokai is super OP. Young showing pull issues? Yeah, for sure. I agree. Maokai is super OP with and against poke. So when you're going up against a team that's likely to play mages and poke, as we've seen from Fear, I think this was a mistake. I would have banned this instead of banning Rakan. For sure. Garen fucking teed. But Maokai shows, I will say Sejuani can be a winning matchup into the Maokai. But again, very OP with and against poke. So there is no Poppy response because the Poppy was being picked into the Sejuani. So it's Maokai. Now we take Sejuani into Maokai. That changes up the texture a little bit of the draft. Jax is taken because he knows it's going to be a Sejuani, so that's his choice of pick to go into the Renekton. It's Aphelios, the Meech special. I really love Braum plus Maokai plus Aphelios. This core is really fucking solid. It's a really solid core coming out from DSG. I think Braum Maokai is a great combo. Maokai shores up some of the weaknesses of that Braum has and gives you a way to find main engage, and Braum is great follow-up on Maokai's engage. I love that premeditated Maokai ult in the game. Oh my god, that was so cool. They played so well with this Maokai, though. Tomio's cracked at it. 100% agree. I mean, it's why they won Spring, so I think giving DSG Maokai is a mistake. Straight up. Especially when you're going to play double poke. I hate the Blanc pick. I think that if this is something different, it's a much closer game. What I would pick into these 3 is honestly any Leandri's mid laner. I actually think that like Orianna, Victor would have been fine. I know like it's not champs that Young plays. I think Azir is also fine here. So I was actually really surprised it was LeBlanc. I think that was a mistake. Yeah, so that said, I really do like the Kog'Maw pick. I feel like Kog pressures this and is really safe from this given the front line. So I think the Kog pick was good. I like the draft from Fear. They just need to be really careful about when they go into this. Because Aphelios, Braum, Maokai fucking melts this shit. Absolutely melts this shit. Could have went 80 Cog this game. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Because you have a big-ass front line to try and DPS. And you spike earlier. So your spike earlier across the board as a team is your late game saving. Yeah, I agree. So yeah. Dive into the game. I think this one had some delay. Yeah. Young had some internet issues here and there. All right. I almost out of coffee. No more coffee. Oh, coffee after a cough drop is terrible. Oh, God. That was bad. Oh. Alright, I really like this from Fear. So Fear late invade, they have a lot of strength with the Renekton plus the Sejuani. This is a split map in favor of the Sejuani side. I thought this was really smart from Fear. And it's not scouted, which is a bigger win. With that said, the path from Tomio, I also really like. And he ends up finding it out. So Tomio is doing a reverse clear. I think what players have actually figured out with the reverse clear is... Alright, old school. You ready for this? So with the reverse clear, you can... Oh, whoops. Yeah. I'm just going to use this pen. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And with reverse clear, when you finish up this, you're in time to actually protect your respawn raptors. Whereas if you go the other route, you're trying to get these respawn camps early. you usually have to go up here for 8 to try and contest. So if mid doesn't have push, it's really tough. And if the other jungler matches, then they're going to be on like able to invade you here. So it's like a trade, or it forces a fight around that instance of the game. So with the reverse clear, you actually, in this case, because top's going to be shoving in, because you're doing this on 1, 2, 3 as Tomio, you can defend this if a dive is going to come in on 3. So Tomio sets up a really nice map here for himself. That said, it's broken by Perry, but Perry can only stay for this one camp. So he tries to stay for the second one, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised he didn't stick it. Like, I feel like Perry could have stuck it, so he wasted a little bit of time. But Tomio realizes that his blue's gone, and instantly changes up his clear. This is great tracking from Shochi. So this early game, the Sejuani, you have the ability to make a lot of early moves, the Sej into Malachi. And I think that this was actually a map that was set up well by Fear to open up things for Perry. So props to Fear on that game plan. Perry is still like sticking around on the top side. But look at like all the words. Like Tomio is completely tracked here by Fear in the early game. This is really, really well done. And Tomio can't walk in, because if he walks into the Sejuani side of the jungle, then he dies. Now, what I do like from Tomio is that he at least bluffs it. So he gets the smite out of Perry. And that means that he could double crab if he wants. So I thought that was a little bit, like, I think Perry, he has to smite there, but I would have held it like a little bit longer almost. Like, force Tomio further in, maybe find a fight. If that makes any sense. Because Tomio should not be able to flash there. If he flashes, he dies. Like, if he goes for the flash steal, he dies. So, yeah. So Tomio actually double crabs after that opener from Perry, and even gets the respawn Gromp and clean up his wolves. So, like, Tomio actually recovers this super well. So he kind of feasts, even though it was the first play from Perry. That's the first Gromp, my bad. It's first Gromp. He gets respawn wolves, though. So he still gets a super clear and is actually ahead of the Sejuani, which is bad. So props to Tomio on recovering that one. Phillips playing the Renekton well. And the top side, he forced Fake God back. He has item advantage with a pickaxe. Junglers show bots, so Phillips on his own up here. And Fake God's playing really far back on this wave. He doesn't want to take any chip damage. Smart from Fake God. But he's just trying to make sure he gets his wave for free. Another really nice trade here from Phillip. So Phillip picks up the plate. He takes a little bit of harass, but he can proxy this wave. As Tomio's still spotted. And I thought this is a mistake from Phillip. So Phillip ults to make sure that he's fine. But now he doesn't have that ult for the Rift Herald. And that actually opens up an angle where DSG could actually think about Rifts. So I think Phillip, it maybe proxy that if it's not a cannon wave. Is then he going to get back and reset for free? I think that's the thing I would actually change here. He was very close to solo there, I think. Hey, what's up, Quacker? Good to see you, boss. You can't one-shot... Like, I think here is like maybe where you look for auto Q and then double E out. No? Before Jax at 6, it was doable. Okay. With E down. Let's see. Guess we got Renekton Extraordinaire in here. 7? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so here. I actually thought he was gonna ult and then WQ him. I really did thought, like, I was calling out on cat I really thought he was gonna ult WQ, like auto WQ. And if he kills Fake God, like, that lane's so Omega over, but he takes the plate. But that ult being down does make it pretty hard, or makes the Rift Herald harder, right? Because of course you got Renekton, you really want to play Herald. It's a big ult to be missing. So Perry's doing this to make sure that Shochi can get a nice base in before the Herald. And then he's going to TP back. So just like the strongest Herald you can get is going to get Prio on this wave. DSG is trying to tickle this to buy time. Fake God did match on the TP. And I was really surprised that DSG actually committed this. Because again, like Philip, he doesn't have the ult. But you're still Renekton. And it gets stolen. So they invest no time into this. Perry yoinks it with the eye. And the fight actually goes decently well. Like, Young gets chunked. They almost get Perry out of here. And Fake God trades himself out. So Philip's actually really happy about that. Like, Fake God did get the first blood kill, but he burned TP back. So Philip gets to get that wave in. And that's a huge win for Philip, who also has the Rift Herald. So, minimal time invested from Fear. I thought what DSG should do here is, if anything, like, you tickle this to get it to reset. But I think that, like, the map state, there's no way that DSG should be able to contest this. They're contesting it on the fact that Renekton doesn't have ult up. And Renekton is still, like, just Thanos mode at Herald fights. So. And now, like, Philip has a red buff. Fake Out walked back. He didn't even burn the Herald, and 3 plates are gone top. So this Renekton's feasting again. So again, like, I think the theory of the comp for Fear, having that strong top side and then get this Cog Kaisen in the later stage of the game is pretty decent. That's a big croc, yeah. So now we have Tomio answering this play bot. So he blast coming over. Perry, it just barely gets spotted there by Tomio. I will say that... Oh, wait. No, he's spotted here. My bad. I think that Perry should wait... Actually... Sorry, hold on. I'm playing around with vision. So you see both vision there. Okay. Zayzal doesn't award that. This is really smart from Meech, by the way. Playing up here when Zayzal's going to walk up. This is just good Braum play. That's really well done. I think that Perry should have waited there. I think JJ should be the one to start it, and then Perry can walk up and auto. So I think this is a little bit of a small mistake from Perry. Perry should wait. Be patient here. So Zayzal sends it. Perry doesn't have flash, so he gets one tapped. And the TP is overkill. But I think... Oh, no, it's not overkill. It's not overkill. They get Manui as well. Really nice double chain from Young. So Manui... It's tough. He's got to flash that chain. And I think if he does that, he lives. But it's kind of hard to, like, read at first. But I think in that case... You're going to burn flash. Might as well do it early on. So he flashes and dies. It's worth it for Young. Now, while that's going on, Philip, of course, is winning top still. He's actually pulling the wave because he knows Fake God needs a reset and doesn't have TP. And then Shochi, there was a Herald drop mid. Shochi is able to get back in and get quite a few plates for himself. So it's not like Fear trade this out for nothing. I like the play, though, from DSG. They have to close the gap into Kog'Maw. That was cool from our observers. Like, they have to find angles in plays like this if they're going to beat the double artillery in the Kog'Maw and the Kai'Sa. So I think that was a good play from Young. I love this album. I play this album way too much on stream. It's so good, though. Good trades there from Philip. Just Gore Q. Walk out. Very clean. So he gets the tower before plates drop. That's a small win. Right on time. Good landing phase from Philip. Jack Show from Sej was weird this game for me. I don't know what the theory is on this from Fear and Perry. I feel like Radiant Virtue's where it's at. I don't know what Perry was cooking here. I might ask him about this one, actually. But I feel like Fear is probably a little bit bummed out today, so. Recton's strong as hell. He has TP up, so he's bot, but he can still impact the play. They're just going to drop Herald and take the dragon. I think this is actually fine for DSG. Fear can get... do Fear want dragon here? See, like, the movement that Fear has right now, it almost looks like they're playing for the dragon. It's like Shochi's coming to mid, right? So, like, this would be you 4 push mid. And then you play for the drag. I think Fear should have won dragon here. Like, they get outscaled in this game, like, in the front to back at least. Take the flip and drag. You have Renekton says you're going to use that to bully. Renekton's bot, you played out the 4-man push well. I mean, they get an inner for this, but I would, like, looking back, I would take the drag. I feel like you could almost, with that map setup, get both, by the way. Can they get both here? No, you can't get both. Take dragon. I think Fear would rather have dragon looking back. I mean, this is fine. Like, they get the inner out of it. So it's a nice gold injection, and they also get bot outer. It's really nice. But it's Mountain Dragon, guys. It's so strong. Mountain Dragon's so strong. Also, they would have had Cloud Soul in this game, which is, like, actually super OP for their comp. Cloud Soul with poke comps is a wit. Everyone on Fear loves their life with Cloud Soul, actually. Every champ uses that really well. Kog'Maw gets it a lot. Renekton, Sej, Nautilus absolutely love their lives with Cloud Soul. Alright, so Phillips Island mode with the Renekton. JJ barely just doesn't burn here. He gets the shield back up. Was unfortunately gifted a sub to you. I understand, Ido. Hey, best of luck. We had Rocco in the chat earlier. I expect a very close series tomorrow. I really respect each of you guys, or the teams you guys have, so I'm looking forward to a good series. Hope it's fun to watch. I do too. Hold on, what's the... I do fear getting so deep bot. So Philip had top shoved out, and he fogs down. He gets kind of trapped here. Like, they're going to sack top outer for bot inner, which is worth it. But, yeah, it's worth it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine from Fear. Alright, so Philip bases him in and out. He's not going to shove another wave. I will say he could have gotten caught on that wave if Maokai walked up top with Jax, so I actually like to Philip base there. And now he's going to go bot and make sure that bot's in deep before the dragon. So this is a nice setup with the 4-1. Young's going to go fix top. This should be dropped. This could be soul point for Fear right now. It'd be soul point and a 1.5k gold diff in their favor. I would take that. Also, Ido, any idea on the Jack show Sejuani? Any, like, thought process as to why? Or if you think it's good this game? I guess 4 people have to go in. But from DSG. It's not using anything other than Radiant. It's fine if you're rolling. Thought it was Jover for DSG at this point, most because they lost the first 2 games. I mean, Fear's got a solid lead. Support items on jungle are too cost effective. Yeah, I still really like Radiant if you get ahead, because I just feel like that item scales really nicely too. It's just such a strong item. This one should have been over, honestly. Like, Fear played this out really well until they got Baron, and then they just completely fucked the game, which feels bad, but it's really what happened. I really like this from Perry. I think this is like where the Jack show's nice, because, like, again, you just get the face roll. He flash alted Meech, so they get Meech's flash. Philip is forced to kite back a little bit, but still the chunk's really nice. Really good E from Philip. You get a great chunk. Tomio heals it mostly like back up thanks to Radiant, but they do bleed his ultimate out. Now they get a really nice setup here. Good word to find JJ. I think Fear is doing a nice job of at least trying to get DSG low. Their Baron's really slow. And then when this connects, really well played here by JJ. This is really good from Fear, guys. Like, that is pixel perfect from JJ. Depth charge, W stun. Young can't play. That TP was too deep. So JJ is going to sack his life here to try and get Meech. I don't hate this, because Meech doesn't have sums at this point. But the key was that Philip burned the W, so he couldn't follow. And Shochi's out of mana. And Perry's low. So I think that JJ pushed a little bit too hard. If anything, I think Fear needed to reset there, take the gold, pocket it, and then try and use that to get like control over Dragon. And just lean on the Cogma. So JJ pushing a little bit too far there. A little bit of a bummer. Decent attempt on the Meech. Meech to go IE this game. Philip Renekton rarely oversteps. Yeah. No, his Renekton is really good. I love, like, they just take what's given to them here. And JJ set that up beautifully in the Nautilus. His Renekton going into this game, Quacker was on a 9-game win streak, and he played it the last 9 games that Fear played. Yeah, like, it's not like he was, being a passenger in those games. Like, he really knows his job in this champion. You can see the Cog Poke's really good in the Braum. Brahmi can't really deal with Cogars, because he's def good at it, but it can be hard to see sometimes, but he just doesn't make mistakes. With Rumble Band, maybe in a week. Relegations. Hey, Ido and Quacker. Good to see you guys in the same room. Rumble's really strong. Rumble is indeed really strong right now. Ninaway 2-3, get ready. Just be JDG, it's fine. Just be Kanavi, you can play Nidalee Lee Sim whenever you want, it's cool. Alright, this is where the game starts to go haywire. So, the issue with Fear is that because they want double poke here, they just have no DPS into this Baron. I was kind of, again, curious that they don't go for the Dragon, because I feel like their comp, Dragons are, like, I mean, they want a Dragon stack, because they can't do Baron very fast. I think the positioning here is okay from Manui, but Zeyzal lands a really nice ultimate. So it actually catches Manui, and then Manui gets stuck. So he has to flash, and Fake God goes Super Saiyan this team fight. Fake God actually just kind of willed his team to win this one. So he gets Manui's flash. Baron does go down. Philip's going to stopwatch to buy cooldowns. He flashes on the Young, and they take him out, which is really nice. But then Fake God follows up with an E-flash, and Perry melts. I think Shochi, like, for me, the mistake here is that Fear just didn't get out. I think right here, you sack JJ, and you just get the hell out. But they opted to fight. They get Young, who's really not that valuable, and they get ran by this Jax. But it's still a Baron for Fear, so it's like you're kind of like at this point, it's like, all right, it's like not super doomsday, you know? But that's a really good Braum ult on a Manui, because it gets him stuck. Fake God gets in. Fake God really nice sidestep on the dredge line, so Manui has to flash. And then Kog'Maw has to walk all the way around here. His Fake God just forces him out, so Manui's out of the fight. And, I mean, Cog, you want to poke, you don't want to be DPSing anyway, so... That was really, really well done by Fake God. Really, really well done by Fake God this fight. So Manui doesn't have flash, Shoshi doesn't have flash now. Big time this game? Yeah, he really did. So they go on the Tomio. They get an ult, but like Fear is so deep here. And I don't like this play from Fear. Like you shouldn't be looking for fights in moments like this. Especially when you have both your solo laners fixing sides right now. So I think if anything, like you can press R with the Kog'Maw and like delay bases, but this was an overreach from Fear. Big time. So Zeyzal goes in. Tomio flash W's the flashless Kog'Maw. And Manui's absolutely fucked. And Shochi just sends it into the back line. So he trades out Young, which was wild, but like he's just dead. And then Fake God can run. So it's a 2 for 2. It favors DSG. All the carries go down, but it's going up against Baron, so you take another Baron away from Fear, and you slow down the push. So overall, that's a win. Also, with where the gold's going, Meech is getting a lot of it. So see the FL is getting really big. It's really nice. And then, unfortunately, Phillips Renekton does overstep here. So JJ gets hit by this Winter's Bite. Phillips is actually fine. It's just the Winter's Bite from JJ. So Braum really strong. Yeah, I didn't see this part, lol. Yep. That's all good. I agree with you. Philip was playing very well this game. That was not good, though. So that's a lot of gold for DSG. And then someone in the chat mentioned it earlier, but this ult was so funny and lit from Tomio. Tomio just presses R on mid. He's like, hey, let's see if anyone's here, you know? Look at this. He hits the shit blind. Manui just died and he got back. He gets absolutely just one tap by Tomio. And then Shochi ulted in to save him. He dies again. So the carries of Fear die 2 fights in a row. And it's really bad now. Because like that gold went over to Fake God and Meech. And then Philip goes down. Really nice double chain here from Young. So Fear kind of fell apart. And the poke comp, I mean, if you give this much gold over to marksman like this, they get BT into a poke comp. That's like the timer you're kind of trying to beat. Because now you can't really poke Meech anymore. And it was double magic damage poke, so we can go Maw and feel really good. Which is exactly what Meech did. So I think the itemization here was pretty good from Meech. And Fake God just absolutely, like him and Tomio just absolutely broke Fear and that first Baron. So like that first Baron was actually a negative power play for Fear. Which really hurt them. Because now it's Maw completed for the Aphelios, so the poke's way less. And it forces both Shochi and Manui to go Void, as it's a double magic damage poke comp. Fed Aphelios late game? Yeah, with a Braum Malachi frontline too. Good luck getting through that shit. Aphelios Braum is so OP. If you have main engage. DSG were so desperate, they had to send the Landlord in to rattle Fear. Keck W. Oh, no-y. Poor Fear. Hey, they were up early. And that Braum ult ends up being like really nice chip damage. Tomio tries to get on the Manui again. Manui just hit 16. He just got flash up. Not quite able to do it. So Perry gets out. This is actually decently managed from Fear, but still DSG went out. And they have the Radiant Virtue. They can retreat to the Dragon if they so choose. And Fake God solos out the Dragon, which I thought was a really smart choice. So Fear knows like they played on the top side of the map. They can't walk in and face check the bot side. They have to respect the one side of the map they played on with the poke comp. So I thought it was good that Fear didn't check this, but still it's another Dragon for DSG. This was actually a really clever alt angle from Zeyzal. I just want to shout this out. Like, Philip sidesteps it, but he's also trying to guess Philip's flash over here. Because that's, like, the part of the wall you flash. So Philip actually, I don't know if that was on purpose, but, like, he gets in the spot and waits. And it doesn't knock him up on the back half. And it's a small thing, but I thought it was a nice min-max from Zeyzal. Props to Meech coming into this fight. He swaps out Purple Gun here. And he gets red-blue, which I think is the correct setup. As he can survive a lot of this poke. He doesn't have access to BT yet, so I think he really need a red in this fight. And Fear they get decent poke down, but now Young is in position, so Tomio fires away his ult. They're in river, so Maokai's just Thanos. Young gets one-tapped. I don't think Young should double W here. And it's a really nice hook here by... Or no, Perry cues him, I think. Yeah, Perry cues him. Now what happens to Philip? And he just melts. It's just not enough DPS coming out from Fear. Shoshi flashes in, he goes down. And they get the team fight front to back, 5v5, where they're DPSing with Meech, who had Severum and Infernum, and absolutely just roasted. Also, the Knight's Vow, really good for Meech. Then he goes red-white. So, like, everything is healing with the red-blue was really nice. I think that was a good setup for Meech. Like, look at what he's doing in these fights, just walking back with red-blue. Yeah, I don't think Young had his best series today, but he did clutch the hell up in Game 5, so props to him. Shochi need Dalton? No. But he did. All game. Nice chunk under the Coggers. Again, Cog and Kaiser both missing flash, so these setups get hard for Fear. Yeah, you'd be correct, Markov. All right, how it feels to play Nautilus versus Braum in the late game. I really like that ult from Tomio. Really nice angle from Tomio. Why was the landlord called? It was a joke. Fear. Go check Shoshi's Twitter today. That was not a joke. That was bad, but not good. All right, so now we have the TP coming in. See, Philip goes to that word below. He is going to get Fake God. Nice Anya's to buy sometime, but he's dead. Good shutdown for Philip. It was well done from Philip and Fear to find that, but like it's not enough at this point. He still can't go in because it's Braum Maokai with Aphelios core. So as long as that exists, it's really tough to get on the Aphelios. Pretty much impossible. You can see Fear's comp has run out of gas a little bit. BT is done on the Aphelios now. So you can't poke Aphelios anymore. You have to find other targets, which are not nearly as valuable. LeBlanc slippery. The front, and you're just hitting front line now. I think this is a game where it should have been Leandri's Kaisa again from Shochi. They get Tomio low, which is kind of nice. But here comes Maokai ult to break the poke comp. Fake God gets ulted. Philip takes a lot of damage early. And Fear just... It's a straight up 5v5 where Fear weren't able to set up the poke and DSG just straight up win. They get Young. Fake God has the most cautious Zanyas of all time. But, you know, just in case the Void Seeker, like, bent the bullet. God Soul secured. At this point, with a full build of Aphelios, like, I think that, like, Maokai, Aphelios, Braum, just the core is really good. The flashes were back up on the Fear carries, so, like, that's, like, the only chance they really had in this one, but they just not enough control. Like, they instantly get the flash on Manui again. Oh. So they can approach Baron for free. This game is kind of a slow burn to end, but DSG did a good job of making sure that they didn't throw into a poke comp. Tomio's level 18, even when Zeke's. I actually really like the Zeke's on Tomio. It's really good for Meech. It's actually really good for Meech. And the Redemption is really good for Braum, too. Redemption scales really nicely. Just, like, have more health for the poke. You aren't worried too much about the CC, because the tank's going to catch it, and yeah. I mean, nice chain from Young. Hard game at this point. Like, you just missed the window where the poke was good, because Fear really fucked up the first Baron transition. And DSG punished really well, so really well done by DSG in this game. This game was very close. If Fear play out that first Baron better, it's winnable. And I think that's what they're going to want back when they look back through this series. As we go into the next game, more draft adaptations coming in. This time, Fear swaps sides. So they actually give away the Sejuani. DSG, you can see the priority they put on Maokai. I thought that with this ban, Fear were setting up for first pick Maokai. So really like the Maokai ban because it gets the Poppy Sejuani matchup again, which they were comfortable with, and they get the Renekton to boot. Denying that from Philip also has proved to be really nice in this series. I will say, this is one of the games where I would actually advocate to put Poppy top. I know it's really tough to play Poppy top into this core, but at least in the earlier stage of the game. Later, though, it's really good. I know Perry's a really good Poppy player. Poppy's really valuable this game, but I think this is really tough to play into this. I like, you do have the E to try and get out of the Permafrost passive, but you're gonna see how DSG plays it out. It's really good. And then Tristana denied from Shochi. Viger also denied from Manui. They take away these two for Young. He goes with the Bonk again. The Bonk setup's a little bit better. My issue with this game for Fear is that they get shoved mid and top in the first 3 waves, but then this just blitzes Fear. They get shoved bot too with the first 3 waves, so like Perry can make plays then, but then the rest of the lanes, once you hit level 3 onwards for DSG, are just like hard winning. So I thought this was a really tough game for Perry to play because a lot of the lanes were hard winning, and it ends up being really DSG favored. It's probably the most one-sided game that we had in the series. Changes that I would have made, again, maybe thinking about putting that Poppy top to get Perry on a champion that you can play into the Sejuani. I think Trundle would have been really valuable this game. If you're playing into this core, it sucks into this, but it's not bad in that core. Even, like, you can always play topside and, like, try and... Or you can at least ult the Sej and then try and play front to back. As this front line is squishy moving forward. Just asked the coach about LeBlanc pick on stream. He refused to answer, lol. It was the pick that was left that he could play. I think Silas is actually playable here, by the way. But it is a little bit scary into this. And you are forced to pressure mid, whereas the pressure, I think they wanted topside. Because they have the Renekton, so. Young's internet was so we had to vamp. Oh, also, I looked like Kendall Roy today from Succession. Just gonna throw that out there. I was giving off some serious Kendall Roy energy. I was wearing Jordans, underneath too. I gotta rock my Jordans on the cast, guys. They're actually a really comfy shoe to stand in all day. All right, early game. We have AoE camp start for the Poppy, and then Sejuani is working their way up towards the top side. Philip on the Jax does get shoved early. Counter-Strike OP. Young almost takes a passive proc. That would have been tough. You can see, like, the early waves, because, like, Zeri, Kaisa just kind of, like, mindlessly shove. Jack shoves too. And then once level 3s come in, like, DSG, I think they win all 3 lanes from then on out. Bot, you kind of need a first base on the Xayah, but I still think it's, like, winning. So Tomio 5 camps so that he can be in position to do this. He is spotted on this ward, so it's a really nice ward placement here from Philip. But on the bounce, they just want to try and pressure. So he is going to take this. And it's a nice trade from Fake God. So he wins out of that, cuts the wave, gets some more healing. Crab taken by Tomio just in time, and this is beautiful. So right, like the E's down, because Philip just burned it on the trade. Flash burn from Tomio committed. Easy peasy. Fake God gets it. Really, really well played by DSG. So that Jax is already like hating his life in the top side. Fake God can walk back to that lane, so he saves the TP. So it's a pickaxe to a Ruby Crystal, and he's loving his life right now. So top lane's 1. Bopio's up here. They do not decide to dive. The Renekton has like full HP. So again, Renekton walked back. He dropped a ward. Boppy has nothing else to do on the map right now except for Gromp. Parry's hit the base. So I think he just goes top to make sure it's not a repeat onto Philip and then just bases on a ward. Because this, like, Philip can always hit this next wave and then try and get it in. But once you hit level 5 on Renekton, if you take 2 points in Adaptive Force, then if you EQ the wave, it just dies if you have empowered Qs. So you have, like, complete control over the wave then. It's really good. Mage creeps specifically. So again, top lane is just over. Fake God stacking this wave up. So if Tomio takes Raptors and comes top, he's there on time. Not even going to take Raptors, just going to skip it. Just going to go up. And this is really good. This was a great play by JJ. This is really small. But what happened this game is... so Perry's going to have a late base on the top side. And now it's the bounce. Perry, this was a mistake from Perry for me. So look at the camps top. I talked about this on the cast. I was happy I picked up on this one. His camps are top because he... Tomio denied... Oh, shit. Hold on. He took his respawn Raptors. So those are down. And then he walked top to make sure that Philip was safe here. He walks bot to maybe see about contesting this dragon or sneaking in instead of taking his top camps. Now, if he takes his Wolves and his Gromp in this time, he'll be up top to then defend against this stacking wave from Fake God. Because Fake God's stacking this wave in the dive. So because Perry was bot and had like some wasted time, JJ actually based when he got the wave in, and he's kind of doing Perry's job here by covering top. So this was really, really good from JJ. Really good from JJ. So yeah, like Tomio's here, like he's on time to like find this dive, but once JJ shows, they get the hell out of there. And it ends up being no play. So JJ actually burns Tomio's time. Like he did get the Gromp in the end, so like Tomio feels okay from that. But yeah, that was a nice series of events from JJ. So JJ leashes a little bit of mid to get Shochi a good base. And Philip, he has a big wave. So because JJ like roamed top, you can see Zeyzal. It's like here. Off this reset. So it was a first reset here from Fear. So Zeyzal now has a turn on the map. He's gonna walk top on like his own. He's also level 5. So he's gonna hover mid. JJ then comes mid, helps. He hits level 5, but he's showing on mid, so then Zeyzal knows this play is free. Fake God finds the stun. Philip is dead as hell. Zeyzal takes it. No one else could get it. And that wave is fucked. That wave is so terrible. And when you are Renekton, you have complete control over the waves, so. Matchup's even further gone. Really nice chunk of the Young there, though, from Fear. That actually opens up a potential Herald play for them. And because JJ's hard stuck topside, Tomio just hit 6. They do start this up. But again, you're fighting Herald and interacting, guys. And this is where it's on to game 5. Yeah, correct, Marikuv. So, Tomio, this is being fired out. Tomio actually just ults it. And ends up winning the smite steal. Parry didn't get a smite down. So you do get the cooldown back as parry, but it just ends up not mattering because then there was a fight after. And Fake God just flashes in and one-taps everyone as Renekton, so. And Zeyzal baits Philip up out of the fight and has a beautiful escape here. So they get the Herald to get 2 kills, and this is actually just GG. Because from here, like DSG, they have a lead. They pressure in every lane. And they're playing the TLC comp special. I take that Fear mid plus bot side is eons better than BLG took a hit today. They are only centuries better now. Oh no. This is really nice. There's a kink in my neck. What time is it? 12:10. Okay, this honestly it's a cool flash from Young, but they just can't get through the shield. So he's got a W back. If their landlord showed up, they would be 6 feet under and not kicked out. Oh my god. I'm just praying that BLG makes it the Worlds, man. LPL is so competitive this split. The 6 teams that are left in LPL are like actually just ridiculously good compared to like LCK's like 5th, 6th teams are really not that good. Arguably their 2nd and 3rd teams aren't even that good right now. I think LPL is just going to absolutely ruin Worlds. What is LPL is 17 teams, Marikuv. Come on, pay your respects. All right, this is a big lead for DSG. They took both dragons on time. It's really big for them. They do get outscaled this game. As the Renekton, like, yeah, we saw what happens with Renekton and Sejuani and some of these. Zai gets outranged. And Kai'Sa, of course, is Kai'Sa later. They defend against this dive. Tomio managed to hit the Empowered Blast Cone. Or Shochi hit him out. Didn't matter that much, but. Whoop. Oh, should he use a team? Oh, God. Yeah, so again, I mean, Fear just catching waves. This game's really toast. Huh? This is a I actually don't mind this fine. Because DSG is hitting 2nd Herald. I don't know if Fear knows this or not, but they actually have a nice pick on a Young. But the TP comes in from Fake God, and this Renekton is just too big. So they drop parry. Which again, like, actually isn't... I respect... Like, Fear taking the 1-for-1 there is respectable, but like... They're so far behind. So they drop the turret. Shochi can't do this fast enough. He gets TP'd on. They can't get mid. So they get damage on turrets, but like they can't take any of them because they were just too far behind. So it ends up being a loss because they can't trade anything out. Jack's rework where you can grant his Counter-Strike to other allies. That's Nyla. Come on. Or Senna. God, Senna's kit's so broken. Every time I think about Senna, I just am reminded how busted that kid is. Hazel almost took that. It's funny. I mean, that's where we're at in this game, guys. Hazel's trying to steal Gromps. Nice nice out there from Inui. Fake God got the top wave in, so he bled down to try or make sure that the Herald got in. Clean from DSG. So again, DSG just like leaning on the fact they can get side prio on each side to make stuff happen across the map. Meech has to burn flash here and lives with like 1 HP. It's actually just wallet tiff. Kind of sucks there. I thought that was a decent play from Fear. One of the funnier moments that happened today. There's no minion wave here, and JJ just sacks himself to take the turret. Legitimately. So JJ gave himself over for a dopamine hit. Respect. That is a support right there if I've ever seen one. Okay. So they trade inner for outer with bounty. I mean, that's like actually kind of even with bounty, which is disgusting. But, you know, it is what it is in this game. I don't know why Fear hit this. Like, they're just searching for anything at this point. They're like, hey, maybe if DSG, like... I think the idea for Fear here is, hey, we're a minute away from Dragon, and we got top wave in deep. If they pick that up and their team resets, maybe we can sneak this. I think that was the thought process there for Fear. But it's like, honestly, a respectable attempt. I actually respect the hit here. Even if this was... Yeah, I actually respect it. Because, like, they're doing it on the timer where DSG would reset. So I actually don't mind that hit from Fear. I mean, it fucks them for the next Dragon Boy. I think the game's toast anyway. So I actually really don't mind that risk. Yeah, the beat for the song is too good, man. Not like when you like, you know, it gets like into like the verse. All right. We have a fight. Steadfast Presence is burned, doesn't hit connect anything, and then Zazler gets to go in for free. Once Steadfast Presence is down, and DSG just face roll. Oh, whoops. Nice chain here from Young. Really well done. The beat right here. So that's Dragon, or Baron in the Dragon. And then we find Young again, which is not bad. It is a really good pick. Wait, we actually can listen to the Carly Rae Jepsen album. I haven't heard it yet. This is a request that I'm honoring. Remove from queue. Carly. The loveliest time. Hell yes. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. All right. We're going to wrap up this song, though, first. Loneliest Time is better? Probably. That was a good album. All right, Philip has a nice cue. He tried to sneak away blue. He can't even get this. I mean, I was literally talking about like DSG hitting blast cones the right way. That's how boring this game was. Gets to the Meech Penna where he randomly finds his 5 kills as Zaya. Zeke's second for Zeyzal because they're so far ahead. Respect. Just buff that Zaya up. Away like it lasts forever, babe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was. Honestly, that 1-for-1 was as good as it could have went for Fear. And here comes the Penna. So again, Steadfast Presence was burned. Zeyzal waits it out until we grant entrance. It's really nice. And then Meech just has some feathers down. W goes wide. He throws down an E. Why did Fake get ult? Oh, he got knocked away. Ha! So again, dodge connects. No Steadfast Presence on parry. He knocks Renekton into the team, which was questionable. And then Meech gets all the kills. Somehow. So he just gets a random penna, and that's game. GG's game 5. Game 5 was close. Somewhat. Alright, game 5. Let's go. All right, so we're back on this side for DSG. There's no Maokai, but I think that these bans actually help clear up the Sedge. So it's a Sedge first pick that can't respond with this plus Renekton. So they end up getting a stronger top side in the end in the Cassante. They still take Poppy plus Kaisa, which is a bit of an... I think it's a good opener, but Young goes Azir on 3. I think that overall this really got cleaned up for DSG when it comes to the draft. Ooh. Ooh. These two into this. So they end up putting the Triss mid and then the Kaisa bot. I think Triss mid's okay because it actually does give mid prio later on with the Poppy. I just don't think that Triss Poppy can make any plays. I don't really know where Poppy goes in terms of lanes, besides like attacking Sedge, which is a little bit of my issue in this draft. I think that the Renekton's nice for Poppy because Poppy actually has a place to dive, but there is no lane that Fear can dive, which is really what you want to do is the Poppy here. So bot lane's just losing, and top lane's just losing. And DSG have a Jinx. So if they get ahead at all and Jinx gets resets, this game gets hard. And the way that they win is like getting uber late game with like this. Because their team fight's pretty nice. They actually have a decent DPS with Trist. But that's going to take a little bit.
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy.
Alex Fool.
With the amount
Thanks for the follow. Appreciate
timing
it.
could be great, but like you said, Cummy. With the amount of timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy. With the amount of
This was nice as Young gets a little bit of an earlier level 2. I think that was a nice feed on that ward kill from Zazel. So that's small, but I mean, everything counts. Nice bone pudding proc as well. Top or mirrored clears again as Poppy is going top to bot. This is a bit interesting to me again. I don't think Poppy has great lanes to play into except for mid. Like, I think mid dive is like the one play that could be looked at. Poppy's actually going for this clear, which means that you end topside. They could try and attack the Jacks early, but I think that's tough. So I actually didn't love this setup from Perry. I think that he would have. I would prefer if you go AoE camps first and then you work your way back. They respawn faster. All right, he skips the wolves. That's fun. This was the slowest game that we had. All right, so Tomio's trying to see if he can take the respawn Raptors, which he spots. So he gets he gets 2 scouting wards down because he held on to his trinket all the time. So he's going to see when Perry does his topside camps, which is nice info for the map. And Shochi's going to get a really deep ward in here too. So I want to credit each team again for tracking enemy junglers. I think they did a really nice job here. Oh, it's not. Okay, not this time. And with the... Tomio wastes a little bit of time here by not doing his Krugs, but he does protect his Raptors. Ends up being worth. But Shoshi there, he went down to War of the Krug. So again, each team doing a nice job of tracking the other jungler in this game. So first dragon going to be taken here. This was manufactured by a reset from Zazel and Meech. Oh, Fear reset first. And DSG decided to stay an extra wave to get this in, so don't match. So by getting this wave in, Fear's on the map first. Poppy skips the topside camps and just comes straight bot. Which this is correct. This is the one time they can get the dragon. Shochi's back onto the map too. I like this. This was really good from Fear. Because I think the Jinx should get priority in this lane. Oh, this was almost really close. If Fake God, like, didn't pop the E when he did, this could have been really bad. Because Philip actually hit 6 off this. So I don't... Philip doesn't have his ult level until now. And then he doesn't get the ult off. And he doesn't hit the Q. So, like, that's one where Fake God's actually kind of lucky that he was able to get out of there, honestly. That was really close. I thought that if Philip hits that, it could have been really big. Says he did... Yeah. That was really close. I do like that from Philip. He denied Tomio there. If Tomio was able to clean up that entire camp, he ended up being 1 camp away from 6. Usually 48's the magic number if you're hard clearing your own jungle. So I must have been something that funky little happening there. But yeah, that was almost really close. If that was chained correctly from Philip, then that would have been at least a flash at a Fake God. Then Fake God finds a solo kill. Philip messed that one up. Hi. So that's big. Like, Fake God is winning topside now. But again, off the... Oh, yeah. Off that reset from Fake God, so it's a solo kill, but they get Herald off it. So it ends up being okay for Fear. This is a nice recovery from Fear. Props to JJ for matching the Zeyzal roam. This is Philip had TP up. Fake God did not. Would you ever be a coach? I have coached in the past. I coached my collegiate team, Miami University, Ohio. We were a non-scholarship program, but there were 2 splits that, or 2 years that I coached where we actually took a game off Maryville in both 17 and 18. 17, we were the last team to beat Maryville on the run. Or was that, yeah, I think 18 might have been one of those years we were the last team to take a game off Maryville. So we got like sometimes like Plat 2 players, I think, to like master tier, and then like we were actually a decent team. Or at least we improved a lot. Like we never had scholarships, like never in the position to win much, but we got as good as we could be, you know? And then I coached again in 20 to 21 a little bit. So yeah, I have in the patch. I think I'm a better caster though. And I've been removed from coaching. I'd have a lot of catch up to do now. So Philip goes for the all-in, and he almost found this one. Fake God was able to get out, but Perry wraps around. So Fake God had to take a creative angle there. It was well played from Philip to find that one. So good bounce back from Philip. Should progress in casting for LCS. I've showed up for 2 games, once both splits. Which was great. But I don't know. That's not my decision to make. So just keep on working as hard as I can.
Great, but like you said, Cummy,
Likeaholic, thanks for the follow.
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy.
So off that solo kill topside, Perry did show top. So this is what leads to the start. Now Perry insta bases and gets back here. Stealing 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for the follow as well.
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy.
So Perry's sprinting here, and JJ has a really sick engage.
Like you said, Cummy, with the amount of...
So he WQ flashes and finds 2. Hey, what's up, Darkling? Thanks for the follow, buddy. Good job today.
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy, with the amount of... Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy, with the amount of...
So Fear, I mean, honestly walked away with highway robbery here.
Like you said, Cummy.
Quacker 2. Wow.
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy, with the
your takeaways from these games?
Timing could be great, but like you said, Cummy, with the amount of...
I think that... I mean, this game, like, first off, let me go over this play real quick. This is highway robbery from Fear. It's a really good engage from JJ. It buys enough time. Tomio doesn't have smite up. And Perry was able to, like, flash and actually gets here in time to steal it. So, and they, like, knock 1 away, bust shot 2 away, and this is really good for Fear. Like, I thought Fear was in good position to actually win this right here. I mean, my takeaways is that I'm a little bit worried for... A little bit worried for Young going up against either like Ryoma, Spyrax. I think that's something where like they might be able to punish him. Only clears Pelio. Oh god. And then I think that DSG, like, I feel like Zeyzal had a little bit more control over these maps. And also I think that DSG like ended up. I felt like their draft game 4 was a lot better. That's why it was the cleanest game. Fear had some decent mid games, like decent ways to get back in, but I think they need to like. They didn't push as hard as they could have with Poppy. I feel like the way that Fear plays is very much to like full clear and protect the first few waves and then scale into the game. Whereas I feel like when you play Poppy, sometimes you just got to look for these dives. It's kind of interesting. Was it bad at talking though? No, you were great, man. Hey, APA, thanks for the raid, man. Welcome, Always Point Ahead fans. We are going through Game 5 of Disguise versus Fear. We've been VoD reviewing for the last 2 hours and 30 minutes about this best 5 that I casted today. This was a close series. It was a reverse sweep for Disguised. This was the slowest game. Disguised has a really nice comeback, though, in this one. This is unlucky for JJ a little bit. So you can see they have a TP coming in from Philip. And this is where things go really wayward for Fear. This is just desynced. Perry's not here yet. And they pull the play anyway. Now they have Alistar, so Alistar can buy a lot of time. TP comes in for Philip. Fake God lets it pass. It's a really nice Sejuani ult onto Poppy. And Philip gets canceled here. Oh, that's what happened. This is really unlucky for Fear. So Parry E's Tomio instead of Zeyzal, I think. I mean, even if he E's Zeyzal, he gets charmed, though. But you can see that they try and yoink Tomio, and he gets E'd back in. That's really fucking unlucky. So Philip TP's down and gets nada. So that gets Fake God really far ahead. Shochi also roamed down. They end up picking up first brick. I think that Shochi messed up here. I think Shochi should walk back mid. Like, you can at least taste that wave, because it is a cannon wave. Instead of parry. And so, like, he actually drops 2 waves when he doesn't have to, and they cannot get inner from this. Saw Philip teleporting and call NVC to get bot lane to get the fuck out. Okay. Nice. They got a little bit lucky with how they got out, but yeah, it ended up being really big because they got second herald off this from the tempo too. And they protected their inner from going down, so it ends up being a big win for DSG, even if Zeyzal fell in the end. I do think Shochi should have went back and funneled himself though after that.
Timing could be great, but like you said,
hey, PatsFan9332, thanks for the follow.
Great, but like you said,
if you indeed are a Pats fan, I'm a diehard Bears fan.
Great, but like you said, with the amount of...
It's going to be a tough season. Fields is overrated. That's my take. Also, in fantasy football, take my league very seriously. I drafted Calvin Ridley with the final pick of the draft last year, so I could keep him in round 16 this year. So I have Calvin Ridley in round 16. And I took... I got blasted on my way to the Shiva Bowl, but I did make playoffs last year, so not bad. All right. Back to the game. DSG, they took the Herald. Dragons up. Because DSG were playing on the top side here, they're committed to sticking to it, which I really like from DSG, respecting the size of the map. So they're planning on not contesting this dragon, so they hard commit on the top side. And I really like what ends up happening from JJ, because JJ bases, recognizes they aren't going to contest this, and actually goes to protect Philip, and he saves his ass. So Philip flashes to get Fake Out over this big wall. Creates a lot of space. It's really well done from Philip. And DSG burns 2 flashes. JJ does burn his own, which is not a huge deal because he has Hex Flash, but he protects Philip. So there's no play for DSG because that play works from DSG. They drop Herald and get an inner for the dragon, which is actually doable. Yeah, this response is really good from Fear. This was really good from Fear. It was a really nice play from JJ. This was unlucky, though. And this is the beginning of the end. Because Meech gets this kill. Assist goes on to the Azir. Mid-outer falls. Whatever. But off that play, there's a man advantage on the map now because Shochi's getting back, so they actually get mid-outer from this, which is really big too. Always point ahead is Korean. Oh, that's something new. I learned that. Congrats, man. You're a Korean mid now. Yeah, C-Boss. So Meech is saving up for IE. Gale Force doesn't really help in this game, so I think IE was good. As a music video, is it good? So Baron's about to spawn. This game's still a little bit scary for DSG in this state. I mean, Kaisa 3 items is big. Kobe can be a Korean mid, then I think you can also be a Korean mid, Cubby. I did go 0-4 against closer mid once, and I won the game, so. That was actually funny as hell. I queued up on my main, playing my first placement game, and I queued in the crawl closer. And Papa Smithy was watching back when he was on 100 Thieves, and I was like, God damn it. I got fisted. He was number 1 on the ladder. Or like, he ended up like being number 1 on the ladder. It was season 11. Was that season 11 or was it season 12? I can't remember. It's one of the two. That was funny, though. So we're 1 minute away from the dragon, and this soul available for Fear. Soul is pretty nice for Fear this game. Because Cloud Soul with a poke comp is just really nice. It's really helpful. Alistar, Poppy, Cassante all really love their life with Quad Soul. Shochi as well. Not the strongest, but not bad. But Fear, of course, they could play towards the Baron if they so choose. This is not a dragon that has to be taken for them. So they drop their vision. Who was Closer playing? I was playing Ori, and he played LeBlanc. I got fisted. So for me, like, Shochi got this wave in deep. I think that Shochi probably should have stayed bot for one more wave, and it should have been a 4-1 setup here for Fear. Like, I think that this is where Philip should base. And then you can commit to the dragon right now if you were able to push this out with Shochi. And Philip bases and then walks back with a 4. There's one more wave and you get it in deep. And it's really nice actually for Fear. Try and set this up. Shochi comes up and catches this ward. I think if he goes straight back bot, it's good. And then Philip joins mid, it's fine. But Philip kind of jerks it in his top side, trying to find Fake God. It takes a safe route back. I think this was really bad for Fear. I think they lost a lot of tempo out of this play. Ended up playing for Baron when they really didn't have to. I think the dragon setup would have been really nice for them if they keep on that bot wave. So now, like, they're forcing Baron. So they're drawing DSG into them when they are the poke comp. So I feel like in a way this doesn't really fit what Fear wants to do. Yo, Cubby, would you agree that if they didn't roll a useless solo here, the Baron throw never happens? I mean, I don't think Cloud's useless. I think Cloud's fine. Like, you're playing Alistar, Cassante, Poppy. I think that they actually get decent benefits from Cloud Soul. And when you're a poke comp, Cloud Soul is really good. It helps you disengage. Obviously, it's not as strong as, Infernal or Hextech or even Mountain, but it's not like it's bad. I mean, I just talked about, like... I mean, I think here, though, setup's just really wrong. I agree the setup's wrong, but I also think that at this point of the game, like, look at the vision that Fear... Like, we just have a vision toggle from our observers. If Shochi stays bot for one more wave, then... and Philip rotates mid, I feel like they have a better setup for the dragon, which I thought was the mistake from Fear. Because Fake God, like, he doesn't have to necessarily respond to this top wave, but if he does, then they get the free 4-1, and Shochi can push for free because he's Tristan in the bot lane. So I think grouping the Trist instead of grouping the Cassante was wrong. And there's an argument that if it is a turbo OP soul, like, they don't make the decision to play for Baron. But either way, like, yeah, this is the choice they made. So, like, judging the execution on it is kind of how I would evaluate. I don't like the choice. I would actually choose to play for soul. Because I don't think, like... I would not want to fight a Baron where I'm going to get lower against the Jinx, is my logic. And I think... And also, I think that their map a minute out would have been better to play for the soul. The setup was poor. I agree. The ward from Fake God, I assume you mean this ward ended up being clutch. So, yeah, good ward from DSG because it spots everything. And they also see that Shochi's not DPSing it. So DSG has plenty of time here. They can just kind of let Baron bleed through the health bar. So again, Philip's at half health. And this is part of why I don't want to start Baron because I'm getting lower against the Jinx comp. Playing standoff and keep pulling into river in and out to force standoff in mid. You don't start. Yeah, I agree. But again, like, why not do that towards the dragon then? Yeah, that's why I think, like, just playing towards the Baron was kind of wrong from Fear. And again, their setup a minute out, I think, was better. And they kept Shochi bot. Parry, like, in theory, the angle from Parry's good. I think that where Rocco is right about their setup being wrong, not only just that, but even if they do start, I would rather have the Alistar here. Because if you're going to play Parry this way, then I would rather pincer that instead of having Ali here. It doesn't matter that much. But there is a chance you get DSG to actually commit further into you. And Ali and Parry get better angles. Play bot side. Agree. But if you do hit the objective, it's a lot safer to hit Dragon than Baron. So Tomio goes on the JJ. And JJ isn't able to W him back. It's a nice flash from Tomio to buy some space. Too deep, and yeah, Poppy went way too deep. Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you. So like Philip's low here. He uses W to pull off. Doesn't hit that Q, and then yeah, Parry's just ends up going really, really deep. So I think Perry fudged his combo. I think Perry wants to flash R here, and he ended up being. If Perry flash R's this, it's good. Like, if he flash R's, then E's young, it's actually good. Is it though? Like, they don't have enough DPS. I think you want the flash R though. The E's bad. Yeah, like he's in Narnia now. Also, like, I think that that's not the way you execute a fight as Poppy here. I think you're like playing for numbers advantage. So Meech gets 2 kills and then smites off the map, so they take this Baron for free. And that's ends up being really bad to get Baron and the Dragon. This was a massive turn. Again, I don't really... I think... Yeah, the game actually ended from that point. So, like, I think the scaling of these comps is kind of weird, because I think that this part of the game is actually really strong for DSG, but then Fear would take over if it goes to, like, 40+, arguably. Azir is really tough to deal with, but you can get the Kaisa poke onto Azir. And Triss can still manage sides really well. Like, Triss does scale really hard. Also, I really like Alistar in that game. I think Alistar is, like, really fucking OP in that game. And it's kind of, like, it's not like Rakan's good at every stage of the game, but, like, I think Ali really late is actually just, like, Thanos tier. So, it was, like, this weird window where I think that DSG, like, they were strongest now. Jinx, of course, like, is always going to be an issue, but I feel like they had ways to deal with Jinx later. I will say the front line's not great for Jinx. But my theory is, like, Triss could be okay in sides. DSG is easier to execute, you know. That is always big. This is a nice word. There's a lot of info given to DSG here, so they can move topside for free. I really like how DSG played out this 4-1. I feel like the 4-1 is really well done, actually, from DSG. I actually do think the Fake God... Oh, never mind. No. My bad. Good Baron for DSG. They recovered on the map. They got all the inners out now. So they are actually way up in gold. And Meech went for the most efficient DPS items, so he's just pumping. Leandri's from Inui was good this game, I thought. Thought it was fun. You're against 3 health stackers when it's Radiant Virtue, Rakan, so... Good turret from Young. Just guarantees been pro for the Dragon. And Fear are kind of scared to fight at the moment. I can't really blame them. I think they're waiting on the LDR from Shochi. And I really like how Shochi's sitting on Vamp, by the way, guys. I think sitting on Vamp's really OP right now. But Philip goes way too deep here. He burns his W, so that's what enables the turn. He doesn't fire off the 3rd Q. It misses Zeyzal. Nice sidestep by Zeyzal. And I love, this is really small, but I love this from good tank players, guys. Look at Tomio. He knows that Philip's dead here, so he's going to change targets. And he actually, like, cancels the Keeper's Verdict / forces a bad one from Perry. So Tomio, I think forcing that, they're able to move on to different targets. That was really big from Tomio. I love that from good tank play. When someone's dead, moving on to the next target, throwing cooldowns into them can be big. JJ tries to take down Young, which I can kind of respect, because this game is looking pretty lost. But Young goes golden. And then the game literally ends, which was really anticlimactic for what was a very fun best of 5. Zeyzal keeps on stopping Manui's base. They TP back in, double TP, and they actually, props to DSG for having the balls call the game end here too. That was really, really good call from DSG. So that was the series. Again, kind of depressing, anticlimactic, but